Listen, I had it already prepped. I had to put it up, but I have my shirt right here. Ta Check out my shirt.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? That was my Christmas shirt, and I had my Christmas hat too, dude. And they hating on my Christmas hat, bro. I
What does that
love
say? I
milfs.
love what?
I love milfs.
Oh,
And
Lord.
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? And y'all robbed me of my happiness, bro.
Oh,
You know what
my
I'm saying?
goodness. Oh, my
And yes,
goodness.
I
What are we
felt
going to do
some
with you,
type of
bro?
way about that, Wise. You know, and I sent Wise a bunch of angry faces. You,
Yeah,
you
he did.
know,
He did.
yeah,
He was
because
not happy with me. And I
yeah,
apologize.
I was
I
ready to
do
party.
apologize.
I was ready to party. I had my shirt, I had my hat, and y'all just let me down, bro.
Can you show us that shirt one more time? One more time.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So now
man.
I
It's a
understand.
it's a great shirt, and people be hating on my shirt, bro. I got a lot of compliments when I went to Walmart, and whatnot. I wore it in public, you know, and I got a lot of
Uh.
compliments, man. Wise next year,
Yes,
next year.
next year. Full speed
Okay,
ahead for sure.
all right.
What up, Spaces? What's up with you, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Happy
man.
New Year.
Appreciate you pulling up. What are your thoughts? What do you think about Rose, Uncle Rose, I do it for the hose t-shirt?
It made me remember that I'm still waiting on my tacos and fornication T-shirt, an extra leading.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you, dude. I haven't forgot about you, bro. I just been having a lot going on, man. Being a deviant is a hard life, bro. It's tough on me right now.
All right. Hey, the late shift merch store is coming soon. We'll have some of these t-shirts. I'm sure some of y'all deviants out there, y'all want one of those. I do it for the hose t-shirts for next year for Christmas. I'm sure you do.
Holla
This
at
is
me. I'm
ridiculous.
I'm the plug. The plug is right here on the show. Just go ahead and reach out to Wise. You can reach out to me directly. Especially if you got a BBL. If you got a BBL, you can reach out to me directly. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my
I get you taken
Look
care
at
of.
Wise.
Oh, see, that would have been great, because I wanted to kick the show off, talking about Jamal Bryant and his wife, but we can't go there today. So thank you, Ro, thank you, Uncle Ro, for the comic
Oh
relief. We
man,
needed that.
Wise,
But
Wise. You can't rob me of talking about the minister. Ooh boy, I saw him. I saw that spot that you did on him. Boy, I had a lot of opinions on that, but I was
uh,
working, so I had to keep them to myself.
well, if we got some time, I may be able to squeeze it in. We may be
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
squeeze
yeah.
it in
Just give me
today.
5 minutes at the end. I want to touch
Well,
on
hey,
Mr. Bryant.
I'll give you that. Well, hey, I'll give you that right now. Wherever you want to go with it. What are your thoughts? Go for it.
Well, well, number one, dude, these preachers, man, they have no shame. And this is why I say that I follow no man. I don't need a man intermediary to have a relationship with God and Jesus Christ. And it's gotten so bad to this day and age. And that picture that you showed, he was posing in front. What was that? Phantom Rolls Royce?
I, I
A
don't know.
Bentley?
Royce. It was
It,
definitely
it,
a
it
Royce.
was,
Was it a Rolls Royce? Okay.
yeah, yeah. It was definitely something high end. Okay, because I ain't never seen a Chrysler 300 with a grill like that. All right.
Mm.
So you're posing in front of a Phantom Rolls Royce. Your wife got a BBL. I know those are designer clothes that everybody got on, from the drawers to the socks to the ties. Everything's designer. You know, and you're trying to tell me, a man of less means, to have faith while you're taking my money and you're flying private and you're doing all this. Listen, why? That's why in this day and age, bro, I follow no man. I have my direct relationship with God, and that's all I need, bro. Because most of these guys, they don't believe in anything, nothing, and it shows. And if you follow these guys, then that's on you. That's all I need. I wanted to say on that.
Got you. Understood. Well, hey, we beat that. We beat the dead horse yesterday. Yeah, it's
Man,
pretty
they
interesting. But
crazy.
I did kind of want to get back into it. But we got to talk about what happened out in Minnesota. I'm gonna play a couple clips for you guys. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. I'm sure a lot of you guys, they're out there protesting right now. We can't go but so far as what we can show, on the platform. If you do want to see it, go to X. It's all out there. There's multitude of angles and things of that nature. We will take some time to kind of get into the actual report that came from the news. We obviously know that's a little biased, but we'll get into it. A couple super chats I want to read real quick. Shout out to Steven coming through with the $2 super chat, says switching to the evening stream. Like it. Thank you very much. Well, we've been doing this for a little bit. Shout out to Steven again, praying for Minnesota. Thank you for the $2 super chat. And shout out to Ash Bay. Thank you very much. Becoming a member. Appreciate you. All righty. Let's get into it. Hit that like button for me on the way in. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button for me. Appreciate everybody pulling up this evening. And yeah, let's get into it.
You can see the vehicle there. That's law enforcement pulling up in the pickup.
And it is the Honda Pilot that we should be focused on here. It's about a purplish, reddish color here. So let's take a look.
Agent walking up. And then there's another agent. I don't know if you can see that one right there.
Yeah, three agents involved. One was kind of closer to the front of the vehicle. The other kind of pulled on that driver's side door handle.
Yeah.
There
So again, there's no audio here. We don't know what's being said. We don't know really anything else about this woman, other than we know that she was not the target of the initial investigation. That was confirmed by the police chief. But there are some other angles of this as well that are being looked at. So that's kind of one pass of the video. And again, right. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Sorry. So there is some audio to this, and if you go online, you can see. So now you can see the vehicle is crashed.
Yep.
And according to law enforcement here in the Twin Cities, that woman was shot, and then the vehicle drove into the snow there, as you can see. So this is kind of the aftermath right now. This video is turned the other way. We want to just show you what's happening. We didn't have a lot on the front end of this, and every time we show video, we kind of like to show prior the incident.
Have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
Really wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
That was her goal.
Alrighty. I think I'm missing somebody. Oh, yeah, Dion's down there. I'll pull her up here in a second. But Michonne, I'll start with you. You can go with it wherever you want to go, but what are your thoughts on this situation up there?
Thanks for that last TikTok to finally confirm what we already knew, but confirm that somebody, I guess, who was there, because I already did this stream on it. But my question was, why are you facing this way if the street goes this way? I said, I'm gonna need somebody to explain. And I straight up said, I think she was blocking the street. And then my thought is that one, why are you blocking the street? We know why. Liberal white women. Can't stand them, sorry. Can't stand liberal white women. And why is a woman even down there? Which I'm sure I'll be called chauvinistic or whatever. I don't care. Why would you go down there? You're down there by yourself. You're clearly in the way, because where I live, when you see and hear sirens and lights, you're supposed to get out of the way, not get in the way. but maybe it's different in Minnesota because they're crazy. But while, it's sad that, somebody died, she was doing what she wanted to do. So you want to mess around, everybody's saying FAFO, you found out. And it's in my opinion, I feel like now that I've looked at it and listened to a bunch of stations and then saw what you just put there with people who have stuff to say, you were someplace that you probably shouldn't have been. You wanted to protest. This is your result from protesting. Rest in peace to that woman, and whoever her family is. But we actions have consequences. That's how I look at it. That was crazy. All this is crazy.
Yeah, extremely crazy. Extremely. I was trying, when I was doing the research, I was pulling videos in, and I got a chance to see it from a multitude of angles. Last time I checked, these vehicles, she was an SUV. That's a 2 to 3 or probably a 4,000 pound vehicle. That's a deadly weapon. And when law enforcement is in front of you, and there was one standing directly in front of her, telling her to stop. Obviously, there were people at her door telling her to stop. And she went full speed ahead. She smashed the gas. I don't really understand what she expected to happen, other than maybe she thought, hey, I'm a liberal white woman, and they're just going to let me do whatever it is that I want to do. Crystal.
That's the point. I'm sorry, but that's the point right there. You were there for a reason. You were there to get in the way. The lady just confirmed it. Not that we can listen to everybody, but you basically just confirmed it. And it only makes sense because I'm like, that white truck, where's that person at? And why is that one facing this way too? I'm like, it clearly looks like they were just trying to get into their way. And my question is always, as hard as y'all fighting for those people, would those people fight that hard for you? Nobody seems to be able to answer that question though.
Oh, they definitely wouldn't. Crystal, what are your thoughts?
I'm just sick of lawlessness. I'm just sick of the lawlessness because that's literally what it is. And then the lack of accountability, the continual raising of the temperature by the mayor to make that statement, to get up there and to make that statement is disgusting. And I'm just just watching the videos and how other people were trying to spin it. When I did the stream earlier, I did a stream on it earlier too, and I had a video where they slowed it all the way down. So you can see exactly who moved, where, what, how, everything. And they told her to get out. She don't want to get out. They told her to stop. She wouldn't stop. Then everybody wants to blame the ICE officer. How are you blaming him? She was completely in the wrong. Why was she even there? She wasn't even supposed to be there. But again, they feel like they have the power. They're entitled, they're privileged, and they feel like, you know what? If they see me, they'll stop. No, that's not how it works because you're still committing a crime. You're committing a crime. This is lawlessness. You're not even supposed to be infringing on when federal authorities are doing any kind of operation. You're supposed to get out the way. So why was she even in the way? They did that as a setup. And I'm so sick of everybody because now they want to protest and people were throwing snow and rocks and all that other stuff to the cops. And again, that's because that entire state is lawless. Every bit of it, from the very top to the very bottom, all of them are lawless. The leaders are lawless. I'm just sick of all of them. I had to like have a woosah moment after I finished the video because I was so just ticked. And people are actually agreeing with this bad behavior. I'm sick of it.
Exactly.
Oh, snaps. Celeste.
Well, I think that the mayor's response is absolutely atrocious. While it's expected, because these are the places where criminal behavior is coddled, and this is his response shows the absolute coddling of criminal behavior. But his response, I believe, was intended to gin up further acts of violence. There was nothing about his response that suggests to me that he wants to tamp down the rhetoric, take a pause, tell the people of Minnesota to take a beat. Let's stop for a second. Let's get our bearings. Let's understand what's going on, and let's, sort of regroup. This was a complete reaction that said, let's go further. And I will say this, I think that the Democrat Party, particularly this mayor, and this ginned up rhetoric plays on the emotionality and the sympathy of women to get them to get involved in suicide missions such as this. And it is a shame that these are the people that say they want to love and protect women, yet they don't care who beats you up in the sports. They don't care who's messing around with you in the locker room. They don't seem to have any problem or any way to intervene and protect you unless you're willing to go out and literally become a street soldier for them and throw your body on the line. That is the price now that they are requesting of liberalism. And at some point, women are going to have to employ some level of rationality and stop allowing themselves to be puppeted through their emotion to go on suicide missions for people who clearly do not care about you.
Anybody here wise, or is it just me?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But I wanted to read this from Truth Social, and let me see if I can make this a little bigger, but maybe not. But the president said, I have taken the time to view the clip of the event, which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over an ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. It's crazy. Spaces, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to that. They don't have a case. And the video is out. It's all out on X. We can all see it. We're all pretty intelligent people. Well, most of us on this side of things anyway are pretty intelligent. We can look at it and decipher and say, yeah, she dead wrong. But what are your thoughts, bro?
I'm still learning about it because I don't know. I just heard the situation happened. And, you guys are pretty much teaching me about what happened. From what I'm seeing, though, especially with the clip of the mayor, I think it was Michonne that said, I'm tired of lawlessness, or was it Miss Celeste? Whichever, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is how crazy this whole, illegal immigrant and ICE deporting the illegal immigrant situation has gotten. And for the mayor to say ICE get the F out. Now, I don't know with this cursing thing, I don't know what politicians on both sides are doing with this, because, it's one thing to, say a word in general, right? Like it was when don't get me to recalling events, but it's one thing to just say the word because of the situation. Like when Trump said, they don't know what the F they're doing, versus when you're saying ICE get the F out of Minneapolis. It's a little different, you know what I'm saying? But either way, the cursing needs to stop. That's just ridiculous. Like, you guys can control yourselves. I expect you guys to be above board. You're supposed to be the ultra communicators. You're supposed to be able to communicate without using profanity like that. That's ridiculous. And then you're defending this illegal stuff that's happening in Minneapolis. What I notice about this stuff is none of the people that are for the basically everything that's going on in Minneapolis, none of them can say the word illegal immigrants. They cannot say illegal. They always refer to them as Minnesotans or Minnesotans. I don't know why they can't say the T. Minnesota. Say it like it's a D. It's simple. But anyway, yeah, it's weird. I'm learning that, and that was a great point, because I saw the video where the car was turned, but I didn't think about that. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then what I also think about too is, on the flip side, I don't know how it works. Maybe it's a little different with police and law enforcement and ICE and stuff. But as far as I know, you can't use a higher level of force than what it is that the person that's coming at you is doing. So if a person's coming at you with a knife, you can't shoot them. But I don't know if it's different for ICE.
So say that one more time. Say that one more time.
If a person is coming at you with a knife, you can't shoot them. It has to be like an equal.
No. Well, it depends on state. It's state to state. But if a person comes at you with a knife, you do have the ability to protect yourself, and you don't have to go and run and grab a knife to protect yourself. If you're armed, you can handle business if need be. If they are attacking you, if you really feel like your life is in danger, but it does change and vary from state to state. Here in Maryland, you're probably going to jail. Down south, Texas, from Texas to Florida, from Florida to Virginia, you're probably good.
Now, here's a question that I have, because I genuinely don't know. So the video I saw was of when the ICE agent that shot her was in front of the car.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump just talked about how the ICE agent was ran over as if he was under the car. Did that actually happen? I didn't see the video.
No, well, he was saying that he got hit. It's not that he was up under the car. He's saying he did get hit and he is in the hospital. And there is footage of that happening. There is footage of the officer being in front of the car or in front of the vehicle. It's hard to really assess the damage until we see some of the other angles from the what do you call those things? The body cams. It's probably difficult to see that, but from everything that I've seen, it looked like he definitely got hit. And the way she pulled off like she smashed the gas all the way down. That's what it looked like to me. And that's why when they did, hit her with a couple of shots, that's why she hit that car so hard. She wouldn't have hit it that hard had she not smashed it, put the foot to the metal or pedal to the metal the way she did.
Yeah, I guess we need to see his body cam in particular. So, but yeah. The angle I saw, I didn't see her hit him. I just saw him in front of the car. So,
gotcha.
That's all I got for now.
Gotcha. Bro, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, first I want to say I think Spaces is right. Spaces, you in the Chicago area, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that would make sense if a guy has a knife and you have a gun, you got to put up your gun and you got to have a knife fight with the guy in the middle of downtown Chicago or something like that. That sounds right for a democratic city, you know what I mean? But anyway, because they're all about equal opportunity. So, equal opportunity for him to stab you and you to stab him. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. But in Minnesota, white liberal men and women are finding out something that black and brown people have known for a long time. And that's when the police is in the area and they're doing their thing, mind your damn business. Okay? Because, dude, never have I seen like a group of cops doing something, and I've grown up in bad areas my whole life, dude. We'll stop, we'll take a look, you'll see maybe a little circle form, but for the most part, people go in the house. And dude, they want to go out there and they want to battle it out and, try to impede ICE or any type of federal agent, you're going to get shot. If you try to do anything aggressive, dude, the least of your worries, they drag you off to jail for some petty charge like resisting arrest without violence or something like that, But in the worst case scenario, you lose your life.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, bro, as per the law, when the police tell you to stop, at that point, you are being detained. You got to stop.
Exactly. But listen, this is all part of the plan by Democrats, dude. See, Democrats, dude, are playing chess while a lot of their constituents and people who don't know any better don't realize, dude, that you're playing checkers compared to them. What do you think all this rhetoric is for on CNN, MSNBC, and any other liberal network that you tune on to? Okay, it's to get people tuned up, it's to get people tuned in, and to get people out in the streets to do stuff like this. Because the Democrats need a rallying cry. They need another George Floyd right now. For 26, Trump is winning too much.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, with what Trump did in Venezuela, okay, and this is a prime example, because Latinos pay attention to whatever's going on in any other Latino country. So for the non-Spanish people up here, dude, when I grew up, we had a newspaper. It was called the Vocero, and in that newspaper, it covered every Spanish-speaking country. Okay, so with that, he just turned dude so many Spanish people conservative. They have no idea the win by that. So they're trying to make another George Floyd, bro. That's what they're trying to do right now. And that's what they're going to try to do with this white woman. They're trying to already turn her into the next George Floyd, get some riots going. Because, dude, you know how these riots start off. They start off nice and peaceful. You know, about 7 o'clock, there's a nice memorial, candles, everything else. But, dude, the thugs and the hooligans don't show up to 10, 11, and 12. So before the end of the night, dude, if you wasn't if you didn't go through the George Floyd thing and you're a store owner, dude, you should have went ahead and plywood your store before you went to bed tonight. Because I guarantee you, before this night's out, dude, something's gonna happen. Because they want something to happen. These are the same scenarios. Remember, Wise, in Atlanta, other cities, what started happening? Magical blocks, pallets of center blocks, bricks started popping up on street corners everywhere. I didn't know Home Depot delivered like that. You know what I'm saying? They just dropping them off on every street corner, dude, because they want something to happen. They need that. They need something to bring their lunatic liberals together for the 2026. And they're hoping that this is it right here.
You know what? I couldn't figure out when I was listening to those Minnesota stations why they kept saying this is only 3 blocks away from George Floyd. I was like, why does that have anything to do with anything? But what you just said is the exact reason why.
They're not going to win.
I totally
forgot about that. They're not going to win.
You're right.
Because we have Trump in the White House. And the second they act a donkey out there, Trump is going to organize the National Guard and he's going to send them right on out there. They ain't going to, they made George Floyd for a night or two, but you best believe that ain't going down like that. But that's what the Democrats want.
And Ms. Shawn, I just want to say that's why they were checking. I showed on my stream that they were checking the weather because they were saying if the weather was too cold because George Floyd happened during the summer. So they said that, you know, it was hot, so people would be out there. So they were trying to see if the weather was, because I think Monday or Sunday it was -1 degree in Minnesota. But today they said outside was nice today. It was like it was above freezing. So they said that they probably will go outside because it's above freezing. So they may be out there to protest, and that's exactly what they are. They were checking the weather specifically for that.
Real quick, super quick question.
Go for it,
the woman that the ICE agent shot, was she white?
Yes.
Okay.
So we should not be in it.
Well, she actually has a couple infinity stones. She's white. She is a liberal, and she's part of the alphabet community. So she has a couple infinity stones right now. I'm just saying, Dion, I want to get you into the conversation. But what bothers me though is I don't think a lot of with everything that's going on with the mass deportation that the president did run on, saying that, hey, we want to implement the largest or the most massive deportation we've ever had in this nation. But I don't think people really understand what the job is of the federal government when it comes to securing the borders and, you know, making sure that the people that are supposed to be here and those that are not supposed to be here, they get them up out of here. I don't think they really understand it. And it has a lot to do with, you know, the lack of civics in school, the dumbing down of the population, and the over propagandization within mainstream media. And it's inciting people. And when you do that, you over propagandize, and you have people that aren't that intelligent. It's a recipe for disaster, because when you're not that intelligent, the only thing you know to do is violence. That's it. You're going to go from 0 to 100 immediately. And when you have someone like the Mayor Frey out there in Minneapolis telling these people that this is illegal, this is wrong, these folks they're not supposed to be here, they don't have a right to be here. But if they actually understood the job of the federal government, they would understand that not only do they have a right, they're supposed to do this. This is their job.
Did you hear Walt's also giving instructions on how to protest? I didn't understand that either until now. This is how you protest. I said, what? Why are we doing this?
These people are traitors. They are traitors.
That's why it's so interesting, the timing of this whole thing, because they've been wanting something to pop off to counteract and to overshadow all the fraud investigating that's been going on. Because, I mean, they unleashed agents into Minneapolis like crazy ever since Nick Shirley blew the thing wide open. And then you got other independent journalists running in there just doing the same, and they were getting to the point that they were faking traffic into these fake daycares and stuff, and folks bringing their kids, and all of a sudden here come kids when nobody had ever seen any. So it's mighty funny, the timing, and along with that, you know, then Tim Walz making the public statement that he's gonna, you know, pull back from running for governor another term. Things are getting pretty hot with him. Just the other day, I mean, he was just like diarrhea of the mouth, just running off saying things, you know. Of course, you know, it's Trump's fault, everything is. And just going on and on, rambling about all the things that he's upset about, and even mentioning that Representative Hortman, and some people, you know, there are some people that allege that he probably called for that situation to go down with her. Of course, you know, people are thinking along those lines and stuff. So yeah, the timing of this, you know, is perfect for them. And you're right on point when you say that, you know, when you got a dumbed down population, see, folks like that, they're easier to control. You can control them. But all you got to do is just hit them in the emotions, and there they go, flying off. And so it's easy for a situation like this to go down. I'm sure they would wish it would be a more melanated woman that it happened to, you know, because they've been trying to pit the races against each other since when Joe Biden was in the White House. And they just couldn't quite, you know, get that going. And so now here they are. And it, you know, somebody said something earlier. I mean, it's mighty funny. They give so much a care about law enforcement when it comes to J6, but any other time, you know, they don't care. You know, take them out, you know, is what you hear the leadership saying. So I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of the corruption. But you know, this is not going to stop. They are not going to give up. They are pushing or trying to push this nation towards some big clash so that they can, you know, therefore come in and shove this socialism and then Marxism down everybody's throats. So they're just gonna keep with it full force. And like one of y'all said, like, you know, Trump's got too many wins. They don't know what to do. In a lot of sense, they don't know what to do, so they have to just keep coming up with, you know, all these kind of things to try to upstage him. But you know, and I know a lot of people are getting tired. You know, Trump, you know, he's fixing things over there and over there, but what's he doing about here? I just don't believe that he's letting this stuff slide. He knows what's going on in this nation. And sometimes you work your way out and then in. So you know, you deal with the international stuff, and then, you know, you deal with the domestic stuff, which I think all of that is underway. But the biggest problem is whatever Trump tries to deal with the corruption, then you got the judges that just, you know, end everything with a little slap on the wrist, and people get to just walk away. So something's got to be done, you know, about that aspect as well. But that's what they're going to try to do, despite everything we've seen, despite the video showing that angle where her car seemed to have made contact, definitely, with this gentleman. We'll know more in coming days. You know, we hear about, I guess, probably his hospital, you know, records and whatever they found, whatnot. But they are going to try to portray him. You know, he's going to try to probably get I don't know all the proper terminology, but you know, when you have to go to court and things are way publicized in your state, so you have to go to another state in effort to get a fair shot. Y'all know what I mean. I don't know the legal jargon for that wording. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, people have said that they're probably going to try to prevent this gentleman from being able to do that. And then, you know, if they're probably going to try to get it moved to federal level rather than local level. But, you know, of course, the local people want to keep it local so they can try to um, do harm to this man, ruin his life, you know.
Oh no,
with
this
all
is
this
clear
mess.
cut. This is a clear cut.
I think
There's
so
not going to be any
too.
charges. There's not going to be any
I
charges.
hope not. I
With
hope
all
not.
with all the angles and there's not this who the individual, the ICE agent, he's not going to catch any charges or anything like that.
Good, he
And
shouldn't.
on the state level, he wouldn't, even if they were to charge him, he wouldn't get a fair trial in Minnesota. That wouldn't
Absolutely
happen.
not.
That
Absolutely
wouldn't happen
not.
at all.
One more clarifying question.
Go for it.
The person that shot her, that's the person that she hit with the car, or was there a different person? Because I saw
No.
someone in the video getting up off the ground. So
That's a good question. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, just based off of the information that I've read and, you know, the videos that I've watched thus far, the individual that was standing right in front of the driver's side, what do you call it, headlight, he is the one that he did fire 3 shots. I think she took 2, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe it was him. And yeah,
he was the one that she hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was watching a video back and I saw a guy off in the corner. He was, I don't know if he slipped or whatever, but he was getting up off the ground. So
yeah, he slipped on the ice. There was a third person. Yeah, he slipped on the ice.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's a crazy situation, man. It's a crazy situation. But this just shows you how desperate they are. You know, those on the left, they don't have much else. The president's approval ratings is as high as they were, you know, when he got into office, at you know, like 85%, you know, or like, yeah, we voted for this. And they're grasping for straws at this point. Every win that he achieves, they find some kind of way to poo-poo it, but we're not paying attention. I think the difference in America today in comparison to about 20 years ago is that the access to information is unbelievable. So mainstream media, corporate media doesn't have the ability to frame the narrative anymore and just have everybody believe whatever it is that they say. We get a chance to see it for ourselves. All the video footage is all out there on this situation. It's all on X. You can go check it out and you can listen to it. You can hear it. It's all out there. So most of us are smart enough to look at a video and say, yeah, she wrong, dead wrong. And it cost her life, unfortunately. Rest in peace to the young lady, but, you know, can't do this, man. You can't do it. A couple super chats I want to read real quick and we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Amy Edie joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Shout out to Malachi coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, I started in Minnesota this week. Said goodbye to Governor Walz after I picked up from Renewal by Anderson. He wouldn't pray over the state with me. Understood. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, this is not on the ICE agent. This is on the liberal. This is on these libs demonizing the ICE agents and making groups to actively track and impede and harass these agents. That's the major issue right there. And even with Waltz coming out there saying, hey, this is how you protest. Like, bro, sit down somewhere, man. Nah, sit down, please. Thank you, Malachi, for the dollar super sticker. Appreciate you, bro. And shout out to Wayne Lundy Jr. for the $5 super chat. Says they want us to tie good to her. And I think she was a paid protester. I went to war for us. They have to go, our family, our American children first. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you, bro.
Well,
you get no argument, no pushback from me there.
Well, Wise, you have to remember, this is about the 2026 midterms.
Oh, okay? Absolutely.
The Democrats can't be doing what they're doing and think it doesn't have consequences. And I don't know if you guys know, but what's going on in California with the gasoline crisis? They're closing. They already closed one of the refineries. They're closing the second refinery. They're predicting gas to be $8 to $10 a gallon. Now, keep in mind that Arizona, democratically run, and Nevada as well, depend on California for their gas. So, one thing I've learned about politics is this: if you want to see somebody jump from Democrat to Republican, start dipping in their pocket repeatedly, and you'll see somebody's politics change real quick. Okay? And the second these corporations, especially ones who have fleets, have to pull up to $10 a gallon, dude, Democrats are going to be voted right on out of there. And they know it. They need this. They need a George Floyd scenario. I'm telling you.
That's crazy, man. $10 a gallon. That's insane.
Outlandish.
Here I am. I was ecstatic. I went to the pump, man. Put $50 in my and filled my car up. I was like, oh my gosh, man, I ain't done that in a long time. I was happy, man.
Oh, I know. I was paying, dude. I drive everywhere, and if I have to fill up twice in a week, that's $200 in gas. $240 that I was paying under Biden. Okay, I filled up the tank the other day was $78.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What you drive? What do you got? One of those big big 250s or something?
Yeah, I got a Silverado 1500.
Oh, the 15. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, those
that
things they drink that gas. Drink it.
Yeah, and dude, I saw a $40 drop in difference of gas.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, nothing will change somebody's politics like prices. You know. And that's literally hundreds of dollars a month for me. That's why I was able to buy this nice shirt. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Trump. Appreciate it. Always keep
I was gonna say you're looking mighty dapper.
All right.
Oh, no.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Shout out to LJ with the $2 super chat. Says Happy New Year's. Appreciate you, LJ. Thank you for pulling up this evening.
You late, LJ. I was looking for you in the chat. I needed something beautiful to look at. You weren't around.
Uh-oh.
I think that's what the mayor is, and all of these people that are for the Somalians, Minnesota, the illegal immigration, all this stuff. Just like Rolando just said, check their pockets.
Yes.
Check their pockets. That's it. That's
yeah,
it. That's
absolutely.
Blank.
And
absolutely.
I think Dion hit on something that we she said now, but we may come to look back and find out that it was very prophetic. I think that there is something curious about the timing, because if you look at the juxtaposition of Trump was on a high from the very successful extraction of Maduro in Venezuela. Minnesota was on a rock bottom low from the whole, opening of the scandal of the Somali fraudsters. And now both of those things are taken off the table. And now this is, at least for the next few days, will be the topic of conversation. And, I can remember when Bill Clinton, bomb Syria, when he was trying to get the whole Monica Lewinsky thing off the headlines. So this is not, go back and read, people employ all kinds of tactics to
get the heat off of them. Yeah.
To turn the media in another direction and turn the focus in another direction. So we may find that the timing of this is oddly curious. And I 100% agree with Rolando that this is all about the 2026 midterms. I don't think this is going to turn out to be their George Floyd, because I think it's going to be it's not going to be as easy as George Floyd. George Floyd, because of the way he died and when we were let in on the video. Don't forget, it was the Minnesota DA, Keith Ellison, that held that video back for 2 months, the first minutes. So what we saw was the last, 9 minutes and however many seconds. But it was easy because we only saw the end of that video for the narrative to be created to make George Floyd look like a very innocent, angelic man. It's going to be far more difficult with this woman in her vehicle to do that. However, if they do need somebody to go out in below 0 degree weather, I am nominating Jesse Smollett. We know he will go out in a polar vortex. So if anybody know on their behalf, call Jesse and see if he can get out there for you.
I was thinking about that too, because I'm like, what black people are going to go out there and be? Remember a long time ago, somebody asked Prince, why in the heck, man, do you live in Minnesota? And he would say, low crime or whatever, that way back then, because it's too cold. He's like, Negroes ain't going to be out here clowning and acting a fool in this cold weather. So yeah, what black folks are going to come out? They really like to have us out there pushing for these immigrants, and unfortunately we keep falling for it. I just do not get it. I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense to me either. Shout out to you say that? Is that Prodigal? Has returned?
Like prodigal.
Oh, prodigal. Goodness gracious. I'll be struggling with these names, man. Thank you for the $20 super chat. This is what I call a quality panel. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hey, why? So y'all saying the white woman got shot the wrong time of the year? And she wanted black people to come out, she should have got shot in the summer?
Yep.
Golly, bro. Come on, bro.
Hey, I feel you, man. I ain't going out there this time of year to protest nothing.
Shoot.
I was thinking something along those lines. I'm like, a white man shot a white woman?
No, it remind me of one of my favorite westerns. One of the guys gets shot by the sheriff, and the little girl asked when they were leaving, they just kind of propped them up against the house and left them out there dead in the middle of winter. And she's like, "You're not gonna bury them?" And he goes, "If they wanted a proper burial, they should have got themselves killed in the summer." And that's the same thing for them. You know what I'm saying? You wanted a proper riot. You want a proper riot, you should have got yourself killed in the summer.
Wow.
Oh, shout out to LJ with the $2 super chat. Says we tropical.
Tropical.
Oh Lord, y'all a mess, man. Y'all a mess. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Ro, for taking us down that road. I appreciate you, bro.
I'm just saying, they don't get more tropical than me. I'm Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? I'm as tropical as they come.
So you can't go there. You're not gonna be able to make it to the protest. Is that what you're saying? You can't make it?
Exactly. I ain't gonna be able to make it to the protest, dude. It's 30 out there. It's 20. It's -5.
Well,
Crystal said that it was just above freezing. Just above freezing, still cold as all get out. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, why? You know what that cold's like, man. You live in Baltimore.
It don't get that cold here.
It feel like the white in your eyes is freezing over on some days, man.
It doesn't get that cold here. You know what I'm saying? Like cold for us is, we're probably in like single digits. Maybe it's 7, 8, 9 degrees outside. That's cold for us.
Listen,
below freezing, I don't know nothing about that. I wouldn't dare live in a place that gets that cold. Are you kidding me?
Listen, I wouldn't go to Minnesota. I don't care how many dudes named Prince live there. All right.
On that note, we're gonna keep it moving. Let me read the super chat real quick. South Florida Sunshine Tropicals with the $5 super chat says, no Floridians come up for that mess. We have a lot of them New York folks that were like a big hell no. Okay. All right. And y'all got to work with me with this grammar, man. It's hard to read. All right. I want to keep it moving. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it. It's a couple weeks old, but I'd like to talk about it because there's been some additional information that came out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fawn Weaver. Michonne, I don't know if you covered this on your show, but Fawn Weaver, she is the CEO of Uncle Nearest. And, she's touted as I think she might be the first Black woman CEO of a spirits company. Uncle Nearest is a bourbon. I think it's a bourbon or a whiskey, something along those lines. I don't drink that. But she ran you know what? Let me show this to you guys. We'll get into it just so you can see it for yourself. And there's a couple of clips that's going to follow that, but I want to show this one to you guys first. Hold up. All right, there we go. Really?
Nice to meet you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You coming in? Jay, can you put this in, or do you want me to hold this since it says Office of the Mayor? Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Can I take a selfie with you?
Very quickly, because I got to get in there.
There we go.
All right.
Good to see
All
you.
right, y'all. No. Come on. Hello. How are you?
We're just in the same class as 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Washington.
So I'm supposed to remember you because we.
You, Naeem.
Okay, can I tell y'all that this man just said, "Do you remember me?" I said, make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Pasadena, Jamar, me, you, Naeem, and Sharice.
That part. He's being serious though. Are you being serious? I do not. I'm sorry. No, I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade.
Well, we were in the same class.
Okay.
Me, you, and
Well,
Naeem.
it's nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yo. Hello.
I wanted to play that. There's a few more clips. There's 2 more I want to go. I want to get in, but this man walks up to her and she just basically puts him on blast like, am I supposed to know you because we went to school and were together in middle school? Now, I don't know about you guys. I lived a lot of places. I still remember people from middle school. And even if I don't remember you, because there's some people that I don't necessarily remember from high school, I'm not going to be that rude. And I'm definitely not going to call you out, in that manner. This thing went viral and she's been getting a ton of smoke for the way that she handled this situation. You know what? We'll start with Ro. What are your thoughts on this situation? Have you ever found yourself in a situation like this? And what would you do if you was this brother, that walked up to her and he actually had some names as well? It wasn't like he was just like, hey, you remember me? He actually tried to jog her memory with a few other people that I guess they all hung out together back in the middle school time frame.
Listen, this is just to prove my theory why is that they're not in it, dude, to help anybody but themselves. They're in it for the clout. They're in it for the ego trip and the ego boost that they get out of it, dude. They have no interest on helping the public. They have no interest on being genuine, on actually, having some authenticity to them. Everything is fake. All the smiles are fake. All the handshakes are fake. Dude, at the end of the day, she really doesn't care about any of them. Because come on, really think about it. I remember my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Crumb. I remember my 1st grade teacher, Miss Rivera. And she was fine too. She stuck a bar of soap in my mouth. So, dude, if I can remember, I remember girls in my class, that I had a crush on. Last time I went to Jersey, dude, I ran into one of my classmates on the street. All right. I remember who he was, no problem. So this, I don't remember 6th grade. I don't remember 8th grade. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I guarantee.
Well, but it's not even that, Ro. Even if you didn't remember him, you didn't have to turn around and put him on blast, a public service announcement. Do y'all believe that this dude had the nerve to come up and say something to me? Like I'm supposed to know who he is from middle school?
And that's the point. They don't look at voters as their constituents. They look at you as a fan. And that's how they treat you. Like they're an arrogant celebrity. And let's say, you ever see the arrogant celebrity and they run into a fan and the fan's so excited to meet them and they just like, ugh, get off me, don't touch me. Those are your fans, But for politicians, this is how they treat you. They're the arrogant celebrity and you're just some random fan, part of their fan club, and this is what it is. And I'm going to tell you right now, and this is my last point, but black women in politics, y'all are looking awful. Awful. Completely awful.
I want to clarify real quick, Ro. She's not a politician. She's just the CEO of a beverage company.
No, but I'm just saying.
An adult beverage company, though.
CEOs, corporations, I'm telling y'all, when y'all get some power, y'all are looking really bad. Really bad. Because every time I turn around, I see a black woman with some power, and it is abuse of power. Tiffany Henyard, the CEO chick, the district attorney in Georgia, the mayor of Louisiana. I can go on, Mayor Karen Bass. I can go on and on and on. Now, I'm not saying they're all like that because Crystal's giving me that look like I'm painting with a wide brush here. But what I'm saying is every time there's a negative news story with a black woman attached to it, be a CEO, politician, pick one, okay? It makes everyone look bad. It's always been that way. So the only advice I give to black women, when y'all see this, call it out for what it is. Because at the end of the day, this is the scarlet mark that they're trying to pin on all of you. That's all I'm trying to say.
I want to play this next clip, and then Michonne, I want to get you in. She's gets on Insta and she tries to clarify,
of course,
what happened here. It didn't go well, but let me showcase this for you guys.
Broke the all-time record for the largest bottle signing in Georgia history. That should have been the story. Instead, the headline became 60 seconds at the start of the night.
Hello, how are you?
We were just in the same class in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Washington.
So I'm supposed to remember you. Okay, can I tell y'all that this man just said, do you remember me?
From 6th or 7th grade.
Make it make sense to me. He said we were in the same class in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
I don't remember the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th grade. Before I say anything else, I want to be clear. That moment is mine. I own it. I apologized immediately, and there are parts of it I would handle differently today. As I stepped out of the car, I was stopped several times for photos. After 4 or 5, I let people know I got to get inside. There are hundreds waiting for me. When I turned, a man I didn't know was standing directly in my path, inches from my face, no smile, no greeting, just a blank stare. He asked if I knew him from school more than 35 years ago. He mentioned a middle school and 2 other people. I went to 3 different schools between the 6th and the 9th grade and graduated from a different one entirely. So I was startled. Security was close, but I've always asked him to stand back unless I believe I'm in danger. I like to speak to everyone, hug everyone, make people feel seen. So instead of calling security, I tried to move us out of that moment I couldn't fully read, and I did that with a joke. In hindsight, I would have handled that moment completely differently. The joke wasn't meant to embarrass him. It was meant to diffuse uncertainty. I apologized publicly and immediately and asked for his contact information so I could apologize directly. Friends who were with him said he wasn't embarrassed and actually laughed afterward. There were numerous accounts calling for me to be canceled or boycotted. The majority had no posts or only a handful, none of them personal. Most were private. Almost all were following more people than followed them. They didn't look organic to me. It looked coordinated. Over the last 24 hours, I've had people reaching out with encouragement and support. Not because I didn't feel the weight of the moment, but because I understand something that's easy to miss online. What I'm about to explain doesn't erase my mistake. It explains what happened after and why I'm sharing it now. Estimates suggest up to 500 million accounts are automated or fake. These networks often target high-profile African-American public figures because racialized outrage travels faster, provokes stronger emotion, and fractures audiences more efficiently. That's algorithm gold. To the young man, once again, if you were embarrassed in any way, shape, or form, I apologize.
What kind of lie and the truth ain't in her, man.
Well, first of all, she is mad aggressive, but she should have just came out and just apologized, but we can't ever just leave it at that. Oh, sorry, y'all. All that explanation is the issue right there, and she's just coming off so horribly. Like, who taught you? You remember when celebrities and people of power used to have handlers or people who spoke to them and wrote stuff for them, and then they took it and they read? They need to go back to that, because she should have just said, I apologize to that man, blah, 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 and left it at that. All that explanation, I just feel like she's lying. It's not going the way that she wants. She's not absolved of being canceled, because people will cancel you in a heartbeat, like they're trying to get Nicki Minaj out of the country, which is weird, but it could be any old thing and people will be done with you in a heartbeat. So less is more. I don't know why she doesn't know that. She's in charge. Maybe she needs a spokesperson too, because she's just too aggressive. But that's I've not heard about this at all. I've never seen this woman ever, and I don't want to see her either.
Wow, I'm surprised you hadn't heard about this, man. It went viral. just based off of the way she handled it. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm some type of celebrity, but I've had a few people here and there, you know, come up to me and say things to me. I wouldn't dare handle it in that manner. She was overly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she came out, first off, she called him a young man. Y'all the same age, ma'am.
Right.
Y'all the same age. Y'all went to middle school together. Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. She handled it poorly. The other thing that got me, she said that the people that were commenting on it, they were following more people than they had followers. So basically what she's saying is the peons don't have the right to say anything to me. Most people don't have large followings on X or Insta or any of these platforms. Most people don't.
But
It's ridiculous.
That's her thinking that she's so much better than everything and he's beneath me. She's just condescending. And then again, all that explanation is just, all I hear is the teacher from Charlie Brown. You're just talking and you're just digging a deeper hole for yourself. But she had to bring in racism a little bit. I was waiting for it.
You knew it was coming.
Always that to come in there. She didn't full out say it, but basically that's where she was going with it too, because that's always the excuse for everything. So old.
Hold up a second. LJ, you better stop lying on me. First off, I haven't been in Miami. I have not been in Miami. So don't be saying that. I wouldn't do it anyway. I wouldn't dare do something like this. I wouldn't dare do it. Celeste, what are your thoughts?
If Wise was in Miami, all right, he better hit me up. All right.
I thought you was in Orlando. I thought you was in the Orlando area.
It's on your way. It's on your way. Don't worry. It's only about 3 hours.
I mean, if you're flying into Miami, she said the airport. So, you know, that's a different thing. But Celeste, what are your thoughts?
You know, this is a great example of something I talk about in my book. I think the problem for people looking at this is that the demeanor of the woman does not match the title. So when you think about somebody who has a corporate job, who's in charge of an entire corporation, you expect them to be calm, composed. If they're a woman or a man, you expect them to be poised. And what happened here is we see that this may be a woman who has excellent training. She may have very good experience. She may even have a top-notch education. But in fact, what she really is, as my girl Crystal says all the time, was a gutter bunny. And this is what happens when you elevate these people into these positions. Eventually, they're going to show who they actually are, and they're going to embarrass your company, because that company should be absolutely embarrassed by this woman's demeanor. And it does not match what I would hope any company would want as the forward face, the public face of someone who is their director or president or who's top in leadership at a company. There is a huge juxtaposition between what the public would think that someone who has a title like that would carry and the behavior that we saw. It's an absolute contradiction. And that's why she's getting so much pushback. And she deserves so much pushback. If it were my company, she'd be gone.
Well, it's her company. She is the CEO and she actually started it.
So she's
the founder and the CEO of the company. It's not doing well though. The company's not doing well. They're not turning a profit. It's obviously not being ran properly. But she has come out there and said that, hey, I have zero interest in selling the company, so forth and so on. They're going to battle to make sure they do whatever they need to do. It's not good. But the way she conducted herself out there, if that is if there's, any correlation to how she handles business, in the office,
exactly.
I could see why, things aren't, going well for Uncle Nearest. I can see why. With this individual in charge.
If there's a lot of turnover, I would not want to work under. I wouldn't want to work under someone like that.
No.
If I were looking for a job, that seeing this video, that would not be a place where I would be making any application. It is too stark of a contrast.
No, I'm with you on that one. This video right here, that video, yeah, I wouldn't apply for that job. I don't care how much money she's offering. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't want to work for that lady. Crystal, I want to get you in on the conversation. I want to show this last video because this is the damage control. It gets worse. It gets worse. The apology was bad, but it gets worse. Listen, check this out.
You remember me?
Make it make sense. I don't know you.
6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Nah.
We went to Washington together.
Nah. Hello, I'm with the mayor's office. Here to kick this off. Thank you for coming to our great city.
I appreciate you for having me. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
How you doing? Can I have a picture?
Sure, absolutely.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. All right. Sure, I'll take a picture with you. How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you as well.
You too.
All right. How you doing? Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a picture. You all right?
Yes.
Good.
Doing just
Nice
well.
seeing you today. Oh.
You remember me?
Make it make sense. I don't know you.
6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Nah.
We went to Washington together.
Nah. Make it make sense. Hey guys, she thinks I should remember her. All right.
Let's go have brunch.
That's so cringe. So cringe. That didn't help. It didn't help her.
That's weird.
Okay, where do you want me to start? Oh Lord. Okay, so first, to be honest, I'm not fazed by her because I've worked with women like that. So it doesn't even, like, her behavior doesn't even bother me because I have worked for women just like that. And I just learned how to deal with them because that's how they are. And it's a lot in corporate America, and clearly she's in corporate America. So that is that mindset. And, you know, there's this weird thing, especially with a lot of Black women, I'm not going to say all, but with a lot of Black women, that they feel like they have to become a bull when they're in this corporate America position. I don't know why. I believe in being humble and gracious, but they feel like they have to be this bull in this China shop, and you're just like, whoa, calm down. And that is what I saw in her. I don't think it was necessary for them to try and cancel her, but like Michonne said, they will cancel you for sneezing wrong. I mean, you sneeze. I didn't like how you sneezed, so we're sneezing. We're canceling you. Look, listen. I'm about to be permanently banned off of TikTok, and I didn't even do nothing. So that chance to tell you anything, they will cancel you for any and everything at this point. What I will say is that this just teaches people that they need to have humble. They need to be humble and have grace. I think that's what a lot of people are lacking nowadays, because what Rolanda said is factual. Because I used to work in the airline, and I could tell people right now, I don't like John Legend. He's trash. He has the worst attitude ever. But I love Joe. Joe is amazing. He has a great personality, and he takes time to the singer Joe, just in case y'all don't know what I'm talking about. He was the nicest person in the world. Biden. Oh no, not Joe Biden. Not Joe Biden. No, Joe the singer. He was very nice. I've met different people, and you remember who is nice and who is nasty, and then you decide who you're going to support versus who you're not going to support. At the end of the day, I know, just like what Wise was saying, if somebody says, hey, I saw you on oh, thank you. You know, you stop and you say the highs and the so on and so forth. There's a better way of handling, you know, hey, you remember me from 6th and 7th and 8th grade? No, but it's nice to see you again. You know, it's nice to see you again. It's been so long, so it's nice to see you again. You don't remember me? No, but I don't remember a lot of things. But you didn't have to like turn around and let the whole entire crowd know that, you know, he's a peon in your world and make him look like trash.
Mm-hmm.
But that part 2 of her apology was unnecessary, because all she had to do was say, I'm sorry. And then part 3, Wise, I don't even know why you showed us part 3, because you just made the entire thing like a million times worse, because her doing that reenactment and putting him there and her, it just was really, really bad. And I like, people just need to learn to just be accountable for their actions, apologize, repent, and move forward, and learn to do better the next time. All the other stuff is unnecessary.
Absolutely. I mean, that old adage of, you know, hey, never meet your idols. And I'm not saying that this man considered her an idol, but an old schoolmate. And I would assume that maybe he saw her and was like, yo, everybody he knew was like, yo, I went to school with her. She's a CEO, this and the third. He was probably proud of his classmate, you know, and she came across like she was afraid. Well, not came across. in her apology, if you actually go and listen to the entire apology, she tried to play victim, like he ran up on her, she was deathly afraid, so forth and so on. But it didn't look like that. She didn't look like someone who was afraid. She didn't. She just looked like someone like what you described, Crystal, as just sitting on a high horse, man. And it's just unfortunate, man. You don't treat people like this. Even if you didn't remember him, you don't do that.
No,
you don't do that.
I feel bad for him because that was very embarrassing. And the thing is, the internet is the internet. Let's just be real. Even if that was, like she said, that was just a small little clip and everybody didn't count all the other parts. That little clip, you have to remember, anything that you do can end up on the internet. And I think people forget that. Anything that you do can end up on the internet. Someone is always recording, someone is always watching, and they will put you out on Front Street and that image will go with you wherever. So you always have to be mindful of how you treat people constantly. Treat people how you would want to be treated. That golden rule is very necessary for people to remember.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm one of those kind of people. I'm judging you not based off of how you treat those that you feel like could do something for you, but how do you treat people that can do absolutely nothing for you? I'm judging you on that, because that's the truth. That will show us who you are. That's your character.
Yes.
Dion, get in there. What are your thoughts? You're muted.
Yeah, I agree with like what Messy Michonne said, that she's just really aggressive. And I have to admit, at first, I thought she was kind of joking until it got towards the end and of what she was saying about him, and she didn't, smooth it over or whatever. She just started walking into the building. But it's a shame that I hate to, like Rose said, unfortunately, it seems like melanated women, when they get in position of power, that ego just gets stank. And it's disgusting to watch. It really is.
Can I ask the ladies a question? I know, it looks like most of you guys have worked in either corporate America or at least had a job before. What's your preference as far as the type of bosses that you have? Are you good with, you prefer women bosses, male bosses? Is there a preference on race? What's the preference there?
I hate working for Black women. Not gonna lie. I hate working for them because they tend to have this gutter bunny attitude. They're bullish. And I'm not going to say all Black women, because I've met some nice people. And that's why I said I will never, because like Ro had said, he was like, let me not paint with the broad brush, because not every woman is like that. But the majority I've met, they are atrocious. But then you remember that adage I tell you about how the South, in the North, you know who doesn't like you, so you know who to stay away from, because they let you know in up north that I don't like you. I'm gonna make my money with you, but I don't like you. Where in the South, they will smile in your face, offer you a glass of hot sweet tea, iced tea, and spit in it, and while trying to stab you in the back in the process. That is white women when you work for white women. So I prefer to work for male bosses, because what I work with white women and they're sitting down there key. I would prefer working for a Black woman as a boss than as a white woman as a boss, because a lot of white women that I've worked for, not all, a lot of them have been snakes in the grass. They have been atrocious. They have set you up. I just had one recently that I left, and the things that she's saying about me and another counterpart, all the work that we did to cover her mistakes, all of her mistakes, all of her drunken behavior at work, everything we covered for her. And she said, these women did nothing. They were just sitting there doing nothing. And she would gossip about us, about me, to the other team. And then she would gossip about the other team to our team. And we all knew each other, and we all said, she's talking about you behind your back. So we all knew what was going on. But then the black female boss protected the white drunk gossiping boss. So all the way around. Women bosses, I just can't deal with. At least men, they kind of stay in that logical frame of mind. It's not about feelings and all that stuff. At least you can be logical. Women, they can be messy. That's put it on a whole. Women are emotional and
Yeah. Or yes. I say
Guys,
men.
I know you put a question out there, but I want to put a question out there. I'm dying to get some feedback from the ladies on this question. It's a little controversial, but I'm dying to ask it. I notice a pattern that when women of color, be it brown, black, whatever, all right, get power. I mean, like some influential, some real deal power. Anybody that they meet that look like them, okay, if they ain't on their level or above, automatically they're dismissed. They treat them like garbage. And I'm starting to notice that kind of pattern going on. Do y'all notice it?
I won't say yes to that.
Very
I won't.
dismissive of just average kind of guys,
No,
just very like, oh, well,
no,
you ain't on
I
my
will say
level,
what
so
Y says. I'll say what Y says, Ro. The boule crowd will do that. I won't say all women that are melanated that get into a place of power do that.
it's never all. It's never all, but I'm just saying it seems like a kind of trend that I
Right, that's
noticed.
the thing. The boule crowd that Wise always talks about, they tend to do that. They tend to.
Okay.
I have met women who are above me and they see that I'm trying to get somewhere and they're teaching me, and I turn around and do the same thing for people who are behind me. I try to pull them up. I have seen that, but it's a certain mentality. It's a certain way that you were raised, a certain character that you have that will allow you to want to do that versus that boule crowd. And when Wine talks about that boule crowd, it's like, well, what's your degree? Well, what sorority do you belong to? Well, what school did you like? They will look at you like, oh, you didn't go there, or you're not this, or you're not that, and those will kind of step on you and be like, oh, okay. Anyway, let's talk to this other person. Those are the ones that would do that, not the ones who actually have character, that have grace, that have humbleness. No, they don't do that.
What's your preference? Female bosses, male bosses. What's your preference?
I have enjoyed working for men, and yeah. So if I have to do a preference, it would probably be there because my past experiences, and I've had female bosses, I've had male bosses, but my best experiences have been working for men, and I think probably the difference is that men have um, an incentive for work that is outside of the interpersonal. Men, there's a status that men get from productivity. So there's some incentive for a man to produce something beyond the sort of workplace personality, social scene that's happening in the office. And there's a woman who actually just wrote this was big about 3 weeks ago. There's a woman who wrote a book. She wrote a paper about how what happens in a highly feminized workplace, and certain professions that now have majority female, that used to be traditionally male dominated professions, but are now female dominated professions, and how those professions have changed because the culture of women is different. So, and she describes that women are more concerned that everybody was involved in a decision-making process more so than that a decision was achieved. And this is what I was saying about having men. There is an incentive for men beyond the workplace that says we have to actually produce something. And that desire to want to produce something oftentimes allows it to quell some of the natural things that happen when people get together to complete a task. I mean, it's natural for there to be some friction when people get together to complete a task. However, the task has to be bigger than the people. And so in male led spaces, in my experience, I repeat, in my experience, the task is what's emphasized. When in female led spaces, in my experience, the people are emphasized. So the task may or may not be completed, but as long as the people are, that's more their concern. So no, I prefer men.
Okay.
Look,
This
don't
lady
nobody
is
want to
awful.
work for no woman. Even women don't want to work for women. Okay? That's why, dude, that's why the lesbian divorce rate is higher than the gay man divorce rate, because they can't stand each other. Okay? They claim they can't stand men, but they can stand each other even less. Okay? Let alone working for each other. All right. Dude, when I was married, my wife used to be a nurse, and bro, she'd come home and she'd be talking dirty about all the other nurses. This one right here, and this one right here, and this one here stole my paper clip or my stapler, and I don't like this one. This one thinks she cute. Bro, that's women hate each other, bro. And women in the workplace where there's very little men involved, oh man. On the outside, it looks all good, but on the inside, boy, there's some real
Cutthroat.
hate going on up
Yeah,
in
it's
there,
pretty
bro.
cutthroat. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cutthroat. And there's
you
been
know what it
studies,
is,
in
bro.
reference. There's been studies about that. The one lady that decided that, hey, I'm going to hire. She had a media company and she was going to hire all women. It's going to be this utopia, and she basically lost all her money behind that. She put 300,000 up, and they went out of business because they couldn't get along. It was just like she's like, man, the worst thing I did was hire a bunch of women. That's out of her mouth. That's what she said. That's what she said. She put $300,000 up, started this marketing firm. I think that's what it was. It was a marketing firm, and they burnt through the money in a year, and it was a done data after that. Crazy, crazy. I've worked for men and I've worked for women. I haven't had any issues. I can't say that I've worked for Black women because the industry that I was in, it wasn't a lot of melanated people in the industry anyway. And typically the women that were in charge, they just got out the way. It was commission based anyway. So, you eat what you kill, and, we do what we do. And if we do what we do at a high level, they get bonuses. So for the most part, they were just there to make sure that, they signed off on, leave forms and all that kind of good stuff. Other than that, I never had any problems. But I think there's definitely a different dynamic when you're a man and your boss is a woman. I think there's a different dynamic there in the way, because it was almost like I didn't even have a boss. It was like, hey, you know what to do. And as long as you're producing, just stay out the way. We're going to make you look
Thank
good.
God I work construction, boy. You don't see a woman for miles. Okay? You just be looking out there, it's just a desert
What
of
Deb
men.
put in the comments? What Deb put in the comments is so true. Menopause, jealousy, gossipy, moody. The list goes on and on and on. That's usually what you deal with in there, because everybody got all kinds of emotions going on when you at work, and yeah.
Well, and that's the crazy thing, because not the last job that I actually had, but before that, I worked at a place. Our boss was a woman. The owner of the company was a man, but the manager for us was a woman. But she only hired guys. It was all men that worked there. It was the craziest thing. I was like, I wonder why she wouldn't hire dudes. But then it made sense. I mean, wouldn't hire women. It made complete sense. It made complete sense after I, started to realize that, okay, women don't necessarily get along with each other like that.
Can I just clarify something though? But it also depends on, how in relationships there's a give and take. When I worked the job, the position I had before the last position I had, I worked with two women. When I first got there, everyone was scared of the main boss because she was mean. They were both white. She was mean. She was always catty and so on and so forth. And people were afraid of her. They called her the witch. And I started working there, and the guys were afraid because I worked with engineers, and then I worked with the accounting and other stuff. And I went in there, and it was just a whole different atmosphere. It was like, listen, I'm about to set the room, set the atmosphere how I want it. Because if I'm gonna work here, we're gonna make sure this is comfortable for Crystal to work with. So I was humble, but if she crossed the line, I checked. I didn't have a problem with standing up for myself, which is something my mother taught me: stand up for yourself. So I stood up for myself when she got out of line that one time. She never got out of line after that. And then she was nice to everybody there after that. It was like she was waiting for someone to check her. And once she was checked, she was good. And then we all were able to work amongst each other, women, all the women, the men, and there was no problem. So I guess, again, it's that give or take in a relationship, to be honest.
I was thinking back to all of my previous managers, and I think it's a general consensus across the board. It was a better work environment when I had a male boss versus a female boss, and I remember one lady. Oh my goodness, she was so passive aggressive. Oh, I did not. I kept it cordial as much as I could. You know what I mean? Whenever she came around the corner, I would duck around the corner because I don't want to talk to her. But yeah, for sure, it was definitely the absolute majority of the time. It was. I can only think of one that I didn't have regular interactions, but she was definitely trying to do. I don't know. I don't want to get, but it maybe one in all of my work experience. But as far as the lady Fawn or whatever her name is, with the liquor. First, we all know it's obvious she was just trying to play cleanup with all of that stuff. She gave a backhanded apology, and then she tried to, as she was giving a backhanded apology, she was trying to reinforce what she did. She tried to say, somebody walks up on you, you don't know. Lady, you don't know none of the people there.
That part.
Come on, man. You don't know these people's names. You're saying hi. You know what I'm saying? So then she one thing I noticed though that really creeped me out about those blue contacts.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm not a fan.
Or gray or whatever it was. It's freaking weird, lady.
Not a fan.
Why can't you? I don't want to go there, but take the contacts out. Who are you? I don't even know what you look like. I can't even watch this video while you're talking because I'm just distracted by how weird your eyes look. Anyway, I just wanted to chime in that real quick.
I can dig it. We'll keep it moving. A couple super chats I want to read real quick, and then we'll keep it going. Shout out to South Florida Sunshine Tropicals with the $5 super chat. Says, no Floridians come up them. I think I read that already. Yeah, I did. All right. Shout out to Steven with the $2 super chat. Says it was almost 40 degrees today in Minnesota. T-shirts. Sheesh. If 40 degrees is T-shirt weather, I never want to live there. Never.
To them, yeah.
Not at all. That's too
accurate.
daggone cold for me, man. I'm trying to go south. I'm trying to get as far south as I can. All right, let's go to New York real fast. Couple clips I want to play for you guys. Crystal touched on this yesterday. I had to go and look it up real quick, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, man! New York is New York City. That is not the state. Well, maybe the state too, but New York City is a mess right now." I don't know if you guys heard what Mamdani has signed his office. I guess that was that an executive order, Crystal, that he signed in office?
Yeah, which one?
You can't move it without, or you can't put your house up for sale without the state.
It came
getting
in
first
right
dibs.
before he did. I don't know if he signed it in, but it came in right as he was coming in. But yeah,
the state gets first dibs to buy the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this for you. You'll get the chance to hear it for yourself. It's a mess.
Under Mamdani, this New York City has just passed the COPA law, which means if you own a home in New York City and you want to sell that home, you can't sell that home unless unless non-profit organizations put in a bid for that home. It must be listed 30 or 60 days. You got to fact check me on that. I'm not sure, but there is a certain amount of time that home has to be listed. Nonprofits have to have no interest before you can privately sell that home. You know what? I'm just going to let you take that information and pass your opinion on it.
About home ownership being a tool of white supremacy, I wanted to give you a chance to respond. You're not out of your mind, right?
I don't think I'm out of my mind.
Okay.
I think that some of those things are certainly not how I would say things today and are regretful. But I do think my sort of decades of experience fighting for more affordable housing sort of stands on its own.
Homeownership is a tool of white supremacy, as this liberal white woman lives in a $1.6 million home, but it's a tool of white supremacy. And yeah, before you can sell your home, yeah, you got to make sure that the nonprofits, meaning really and truly, it's not the nonprofits, it's the state, it's the city. You know, if you think nonprofits, no, just understand that the New York City, they're funding this to make sure that they can purchase your home.
I
This is
love
crazy.
it. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I'm glad. I hope they get everything that they voted for, like the dummies that they were, to vote that daggone man in. I can't even believe that I thought you were going to say that they get a percentage of the money, which we know that they do, but Jersey has something crazy where they just get so much money from when you sell your house. But to tell me who I have to sell my house to that I own? What are we talking about? That's crazy. But the people leaving won't care because they're leaving. So that's going to leave all the rest of these people here to be taken care of, which is what they want. That's what they want anyway. So good luck to those people.
No, they want socialism. Well,
they think they do.
They think they do. Thank you, Dion. They think they do.
Can I explain something for people that's not from that area? Crystal's from that area, and she'll understand this. When you go into the 5 boroughs, okay, you have some of these boroughs that have more project buildings and kind of like condo style buildings than anything else. But then you go to other boroughs like Queens and other places, and they
Long
have
Island.
more housing. All right. You go to Brooklyn, they have the brownstones. Okay. Now this is just my theory. All right. And my theory is basically they want to take everybody's houses because New York is prime real estate. These houses probably were purchased 30, 40 years ago, 200,000, 300,000, in an area that had very little value, like the Brownsville, the Harlems, Jamaica, Queens, all these spots. Okay. But now that they've run out of real estate in Manhattan and some of these other pricier places, basically it's just spreading out. And they're looking to buy these properties because a little lot in New York, dude, can fetch millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay? Because New York doesn't build out. I've already had this conversation with Celeste. They build to the sky. And when you build to the sky, you can build a freaking building, dude. There's literally 30 stories, 40 stories. The top 10 stories, you get premium rate because that overlooks the city. And then as you come down on the building, the price drops. But overall, dude, they can take a property that literally takes up one city block, 20 million, 30 million, and literally make 100 million on it with the building and everything else. That's what they're looking to do to New York. But to be able to do that, you got to push out the average Joe, and these people don't want to sell. Okay. Most people die where they grew up. Okay. People don't like to leave. They like familiarity, So, dude, these people are basically going to live there to the day they die. They'll pass that on to their kids, and their kids will probably live there to the day they die. They have no interest on selling this property. But how do you get this property? You force them out. High taxes, high property rates, to the point where they can't afford to pay, and now they're forced to sell. This is the whole plan. And Celeste knows exactly what's going on. She's going to break it down when she gets on, because I'm telling you, she knows exactly what's going on. All right. And me and her was on the exact same page. And I'm pretty sure Crystal understands this as well, being from New York. This is what it is. Look at Harlem now. Harlem used to be worthless real estate back in the 80s. Okay. Crack, heroin central.
$1 million.
All right. What's Harlem now?
$1 million.
I see one of the sportscasters that I follow, Nick Wright. He's got a place in Harlem. He's talking about walking down the street in Harlem and going to go get his hair cut and all this and that. You couldn't do that 25 years ago. That's what's coming to Queens, the Bronx, all these different places. That's what's coming to you now. So enjoy.
Well, I think that the thing to know is the first video was It wasn't for those people. It was for the wealthy, because they want to lock them into New York.
Yeah, they don't
So
want them to leave.
they don't want
Yep.
them to leave. So they're basically telling them, when you go to sell your house, you have to try and sell your house. You have to offer it to the nonprofit of the city first. And then after, if they say they don't want it, or you don't like the offer that they give you, then you put it on your private sales. And when you get an offer that you like, you got to bring it back to the city and the nonprofit, see if they're willing. So this is going to take them months and months to be able to just try and sell a house and get out of New York. So they're purposely setting it up in that way. That lunatic that you showed after the white supremacy lady, because they believe in that mindset of they said, what he said, the frigidity of rugged individualism versus the warm hot cocoa, hot chocolate chip cookie, a hot bowl of warm soup of collectivism, and how we have to rethink, because she said she's not, she's grown. That's what she said. She has grown from the time that she made that tweet that he asked her about the white supremacy. But she also made sure to point out that in now that she's been made the tenant director, that she wants to we're going to have to rethink individual property. We're going to have to rethink it. And we have to learn about how to make it collective property. And these are for homeowners and things of that nature. We have to rethink it. And it's going to look different for our white families, but it's also going to affect some of our people of color. So I have a video coming out of this, but as I was saying, did we do collectivism when I was working? Did you come and clock in when I wanted to clock out, when I wanted to go and relax? Did you clock in and work for me? I don't remember you doing that. So this collectivism crap that they want to be pushing is foolishness. And y'all know I'll go biblical on you. That is what the 10 commandments do not covet.
See.
The whole beginning of the Bible is about personal property. It says to leave an inheritance for your children's children's children. If you don't have these things, so everybody that keep coming to my comments and stuff, oh well, Jesus is for Marxism and Jesus is for socialism, then you have never read the Bible. You don't know. You have not read. Because clearly the Lord does not stand for that foolishness. And everybody that keeps falling into that, this is what happened. New York forgot, but they about to find out real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Crystal, you're absolutely right. And that's where I wanted to go. Not to beat people upside the head with the word of God this evening, but owning property is a biblical principle.
Yes.
And these people are demonic, and all of their policies are showing themselves as that. I'm a firm believer. When people show you who they are, you got to believe them. You have to believe them. Let them talk long enough. They'll show you exactly who they are. And when they show you, please believe them. Don't misconstrue the words or any of those things like that. No, understand what they want to do. They want you in bondage. They want you in bondage. And what's really sad to me is that only 20% of the population showed up to vote in New York City this previous election. And that's sad.
That's sad.
And now you have people out there complaining, but now I'm not ever going back to New York. I don't have any interest in going up there. But I wish somebody would go up there and really ask the questions like, hey, did you vote? And if you didn't, you got to take a couple seats and shut the heck up. You're the problem. You're the problem. Because this dude told everybody he was going to do this. And the people that he's put in place, I mean, think about New York City right now. They put a person in charge of the largest fire department in the country that has never been a firefighter, never fought one fire. They don't know anything about a fire hydrant or nothing, but this is the person in charge. And she said, it's not that big of a deal that I've never fought a fire before.
Yep.
What is her qualification? What was her qualification? Remember what her qualification is?
Oh, she's a lesbian. That's it.
So yeah, she checked that box.
Just like, what? I was just like, come on, man. How do you put people in positions? Like, come on, this is New York City. There are fires. This lady has never fought a fire before. She's never turned a wrench on a hydrant before. She doesn't know what that looks like, doesn't know what it feels like. Like, what are we doing up there, man? This is crazy. I would
It's
say
like
that I feel
he's
sorry
making
for
a
these people,
mockery.
but I don't, because when 20%, New York City has what, 8 to 10 million people that live in the city, and they had a 2 million,
2 million.
2 million people turned out for the vote. Like, this is ridiculous.
They're having buyer's
Shame
remorse.
on
As you can see, the Jewish community is having buyer's remorse because he rolled back all of Eric Adams' protection to the Jewish community.
Oh,
And
day
now
one. Yeah, day
they
one.
won. So they're having buyer's remorse because 16% of the Jewish population in New York decided they were going to vote for him because they thought that he was going to protect them. Because I would go and ask Triple K to protect me. Yeah, that would make sense because I would trust them to protect me. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
The man played Takia in their face, and he played it so well, and they had no idea.
I don't even think
Absolutely.
he played it that well. I just think people
if you
are
call
crazy.
it, Crystal, if you call protection hanging outside your house with lit torches, you know what I'm saying? Then
Well, that's how they were acting.
I guess that's protection. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's and they thought Mamdani was going to save them. And Messi
I
Wire
would
said he
turn
was playing
around.
Takia when he put that you saw when he put that yarmulke and went out there to hang out with them, and they were like, "See, he's one of us," and I was like, "Are y'all really falling for that?"
Okay.
Because he's wearing a
I mean,
yarmulke. I was like, "I'm done. I'm done."
Did he not swear in on a Quran? Did he not do that?
Exactly.
Celeste, what do you
Listen,
think?
this is like a bad episode of the Twilight Zone. Okay, for the younger viewers in the audience, y'all need to go ahead and Google that. But this is a bad episode of the Twilight Zone. Okay, Jewish people are expecting Muslims to protect them. What is this world coming down to?
Yeah, this is
You
crazy.
know,
And
this
Spaces, the
is-
Twilight Zone
this
was a
is-
television show that came on back in the day. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous, man. Next thing I know, I'm gonna see cats with pit bulls at bodyguards. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's just an upside down world we living in out here, man. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna pick up what Rolanda was putting down, and I'm gonna say that Democrats are Groundhog Day. So this is the latest intensification in the war against wealth and against family. And if you go, let's start in California. So if you go to California, the same thing. They had a woman who didn't know that there was no water, and the winds were blowing, and the conditions were ripe for fire. Burned down the whole Palisades and half of LA.
Yep.
And to this day, those places have not been rebuilt.
Nope.
And the people the families, because those were families that were living on that water, who want to rebuild cannot get permits. So the city is determined to frustrate the rebuilding effort because they cannot get any permits so that they can do basic things like clear the wreckage, lay the foundation, get a quote on rebuilding, something to provide for their insurance company, because they're hoping that they can frustrate them and they'll wait so long that they'll leave and the city can take back the land because it's prime real estate and they want it back so that they can build homeless housing and places for illegal immigrants to live and all of their supporters. Same, now we go across the country and turn our attention to New York. What is happening there? You're right. They want to lock the rich in, but how? They want to frustrate the process of selling the home so much that they walk away and leave it, sell it for less than it's worth, so eventually the city can get it back. And why do they want it? Because in the end, private property does two things that is against what the Democrats, and particularly in New York, the socialists hate, which is when there is a family is what insulates the members of the family from tax outside of the family, and in this case, from government. So wherever you can remove the family, the people who would have been members of that family are more vulnerable to attacks because there's no insulation. Also, if you can control all the housing, you can socially engineer family size. because people don't tend to have children and get married in places where they cannot live the experience of a family. So there's no place, if everything is a 1 bedroom or a studio, there's no place to get married and have a child. So this attack, if you come to the South, if you own a home in the South, your phone will ring every day with someone wanting to buy your home on a cash offer. Why? Who's buying these homes? They say Bill Gates, Amazon wants to be the largest owner of single family households. Why? All of this is about, like the person was saying, you can Crystal was saying, you get a home and you build wealth to pass down to your children's 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 children. Well, if you can't do that, you can't have wealth. Why is wealth important? Because wealth is what insulates you from attack. Wealth is protection from attack. And the people who share that wealth, i.e., your family members, can use that wealth to protect themselves. So now they have no place in which to protect themselves, no such social structure in which to protect themselves, and they have no money in which to protect themselves. And like Groundhog Day, every place you find Democrats, you will find this situation.
You're absolutely right.
You know, I can't help but wonder, regarding, for instance, like Minnesota, I had heard it said, I think it was that guy, Dave, that was working along with, dang, these things falling off, working along with Nick Shirley, and he was talking about how the Somalians kind of took over the area, and he was talking about how they would make it difficult for the original people that were living in different sides of town or whatnot, make it difficult for them to stay there for all kinds of reasons. Somalis would call the police and accuse them of attacking them or what the heck ever. And I thought of even another gentleman that spoke about how the Somalis were coming by attacking his house, because I guess he had Trump signs. I don't know. But he was talking about leaving. So, they would get people to move out, and then they'd bring all these Somali immigrants in. So what I'm wondering is, okay, if Mamdani, along with everything y'all have said, but if he's pushing folks out in a sense of, trying to get their property or whatnot, then who does he want to put in these properties? Is he trying to get New York City to look like Dearborn, Michigan, for instance? Where it's all, Middle Eastern folks. And, a lot of people are like, why isn't Trump doing anything about it? I think he's letting it go on. I think he's like, you know what? Let them have a little taste of what they voted for, so that not only they see it, but the whole rest of the country can see it. And then maybe we can use some of that, I guess, later on for people to wake up and snap out of it. Aren't they already playing those loud prayers overhead in New York City? Aren't they? Did y'all see that?
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, that's definitely happening.
He's been in there all of 2 minutes.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to say is that I don't know if it's an executive order or if it's something that is being pushed to the front, to the House. But I know the president today discussed blocking corporate or corporate institutions from purchasing single family homes. That is something that is either going to be signed into law as a executive order, or it's going to be something that's going to be pushed in front of the House for them to vote on. And hopefully it will go through because, like you mentioned, Dion, you have a lot of these corporations, and what New York City wants to do is they want the quote unquote nonprofits, which we know what that really is. That's basically like these NGOs that are all around the daggone world.
Yeah,
we already know what time it is there. But soon as this came out, I thought it was pretty, I don't want to say funny, but kind of peculiar that the president comes out and says, "Hey, we're going to stop corporations from buying all these homes up. We're going to stop that. We want to put a stop to it." So I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know, but I hope that is the case. I mean, the number one way that Americans generate wealth is through home ownership. That is the number one way. Yep. Unfortunately, most of us aren't that good at saving and investing, but we can purchase homes. And that is the number one way that Americans generate wealth. And we need to have the ability to do that.
I
And
just
to
want,
be
I,
able to
I just
raise
want
families, you cannot have family, you cannot have a middle class if you are attacking private property and home ownership, and they know it. And this is why they are so intent on removing the opportunity or the access to home ownership from regular people, because it makes regular people independent from government, and it makes regular people be able to enact the values that they want and to raise the children under the values in which they want, and to actually control the school systems that teach the children the values that they want. All of that flows from property. All of it flows from property. So as soon when you attack that, you win on a thousand fronts, and they know it.
I wanted to say just real quick to Dion, our meet, I forgot her last name. She's the assistant attorney general. She
Dylan,
came out.
Dylan.
She said that they're watching New York, especially with the whole where they're trying to say that white people will have to. The young lady specifically says white people will have to look at the way they handle property, and then she says and some people of color, and they came out and they said civil rights already stopped all of this. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why we're trying to do things by
No.
people's ethnicities, race. Like the White House is paying attention to this because how New York is going, they're keeping an eye on them because they know that Mom Donnie's about to go in there and do some very crazy stuff.
You know what? It's not just New York though. That is the Democrats. Everything with them is about race. It has always been. They have not changed. It's really unfortunate. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but I can't remember the channel. But they had the black conservative women versus the black liberal women. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that. It's about an hour-long video. It's actually a really good video. But what really disturbs me is that you have people that don't understand the history of these parties and who these people are for real. They don't understand it, and they don't understand that they're actually are supporting people that do not want to see them succeed in this nation.
Right.
And that's what frustrates me. When I talk to some of my family members, at home, and I try to explain, and they were like, man, you started making some money and all of a sudden you changed. I'm like, nah, I want to keep what I've been earning. Right. I want to keep it. It ain't changing. It's just the fact that these people want to take it from you. And then when you start getting into, who they are and the history, and then you start explaining the policies, most people, unfortunately, they don't really understand. And this is Americans. I don't want to put this on a race thing. I don't want to say this is a black, white thing. The average American has no idea what's going on.
No.
You talked to people last year, or year before last in the election, and they were bigging up Kamala, and you asked them about a policy that they really just loved, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you why they were supporting this lady, other than the fact that she told them, or maybe they told them, that she was black. Other than that, that was it. There was no additional policy to say, hey, this is what I believe in. I'm with this. And that's a lot of our problem here in this nation.
Why is in 26, it's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats, dude. They're on the road to self-destruction.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Okay, and they don't realize it, or maybe they do and they don't care. But let me tell you, between what's going on in California with the gas prices, the other refinery will close this summer, so it'll be just in time for the midterms. Okay. And then Michigan and New York are not allowing people to get their tax on tips. All right.
Well, it's not just Michigan and New York. There's like 7 other states, because Maryland's one of them as well.
Yeah, it's
Democratic
Connecticut.
All Democratic states.
All Democratic states.
All right. They're doing that between what's going on in Minnesota with the fraud. Okay. And depending on what happens with this situation tonight with the ICE shooting, dude, they have so many problems across the board, not counting what they're doing in New York. Okay. So it's not looking good for them in 26, dude. And I think it's going to be a literal bloodbath, because while they're doing this, Trump is over here just winning. And he's converting people every single day. Yeah. All right. And the only people left in the Democratic Party are going to be the old, decrepit, the leftover remnants from the hippies in the 60s. all right, and the
They
lunatics.
were socialists then.
Because anybody else, and the socialists, and anybody else do with any type of logic, they're going independent or they're going full blown Republican.
Don't forget the 92%. The 92% would be.
I would, Mashawn, thank you, because I was about to say you better remember the whole of Stillbirth Baptist Church over there will be voting what you call it, blue. The whole Stillbirth and the rest of the Dream people over there, the Dream Center, all them gonna be voting blue. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I don't know if it's 92% anymore. I think that number is a little lower. I think that number is probably maybe maybe it's the 88% now. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's the 87%. I think there's, since the after the election, I know I saw a multitude of videos and multitude of sisters out there saying, you know what, I'm glad, although I voted for Kamala, I'm glad that Trump won. So I think there are a lot of people out there that are there. The thing is that you guys got to understand for 5 years ago, the way the access that we have to information, we didn't really have. And certain communities 5 years ago wasn't paying attention either. And I think people are starting to become a lot more politically astute at this point. So I hope that things will change for the better. I hope.
Okay. I think that's what contributed to Trump becoming president, though. I think that's what contributed to Trump becoming president, because people just got tired of what was going on, right? Yeah. I think, and I think that's what's going to happen with Mamdani in New York. I think that's what's going to happen with him. Life is just going to get so bad that people might not even know who the Republican or conservative candidate for New York is. They just say, please get him out. You know what I mean? But I had a question for you guys. Have you ever heard of a scenario where a person has two choices and both choices are bad? Do you think
that was New York City? All three choices.
Yes.
Right. So, do you think that that's what the elaborate plan is for people like in Chicago? Because I'm sure we've all heard about how the property taxes doubled for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, or triple in some cases.
And these minis are out there. Right? And they're out there protesting at Trump Towers like they ain't got no common sense, like Trump has something to do with this.
Dummies.
So they're gonna take away. Do you think the plan is to either make people pay double or triple of whatever it is that they were paying, and then they have the same exact thing, by the way, or put them in a position where they have to leave and leave the space, the house available so we can buy it.
Those people in Chicago,
it's like to stay here and pay this elaborate price or move and we get your property.
Well, I think the people of Chicago are in a pickle. Mm-hmm. They can put that house up for sale all they want. Nobody buying that. No, who's signing up for that? Seriously.
Right.
Who's signing up for that? I mean, it's bad. The Chicago Bears are moving to Indiana. They're about to be the Indiana Bears. Like, come on, man.
No, look, Wise. Me and Celeste, we talked about this long time ago. All right. She said it. She said when she got a moving truck, because she was moving down south. Remember this, Celeste? Uh-huh. She said that the lady from the moving company said that they're losing money because no trucks are coming back north.
All the trucks go south.
So, there's nobody looking to buy property in New York. There's nobody looking to buy property in Chicago. All right. And there's definitely nobody looking to buy property in California, at those super inflated prices, dude, for a regular home, dude, that you would pay $400,000 for in Florida, dude, in California is $1.3 million.
Yeah, it's insane.
Can I
plus high taxes.
Your thought about the 2026 election would absolutely be true, and I hope it is true, but it would be absolutely true if the election is about voters. So if the election is about voters, then there's a very good chance that that the Republicans can hang on to the House. But if the election is, as it has been so often, about who controls the ballot box, then it doesn't matter how many people vote.
Celeste, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you what this vote's gonna come down to, especially in California, Arizona, and Nevada. It's gonna come down to the cost of gas, because that touches everybody across the board, from the
But that's not what
prices of
she's saying,
food.
Rolanda.
No,
That's
no,
voters.
no,
No, she's not
no.
saying that. She's saying who's in
And
control.
listen, no, but this is the thing. People in California know that Democrats are single-handedly to blame for the cost of gas prices. They know this. Okay,
And if
But
I'm
they
a
who's in
know
Democrat
it
who's
better
in
than
precinct
charge of the
leader,
anybody
ballot
else.
box?
if I'm a Democrat
That's my
precinct leader
prediction.
and I have ballots under the table in suitcases, and I say a water main broke, and then I come out and pull my suitcases out and send all the so-called watchers home, and I stuff that ballot box, the people may absolutely intend for what you're saying, but I'm telling you, if you, whoever controls those ballot box controls the election. What
That's
Yes,
we
why.
really have
yes,
That's why.
to pay
I get what
attention.
you're saying,
But
but what I'm
that's why
saying
Trump is
is
trying to
this:
do the
when a
say
blue
back.
city starts to decline, usually the first people who leave are the ones who can afford to leave. The second flock of people that leave are normally the opposing party, because they are now the minority, so they know if they stay, things will never get better. Okay, because their vote literally doesn't count.
In
Okay,
these
so they're the
places,
second flock to leave. But what I'm saying is the ones left are the faithful. You're right about that.
the
But what I'm
machine
trying
stays.
what I'm trying to say here, okay, with that last group, the faithful, what they're doing in California is gonna affect every person across the board, no matter what your job is. It's gonna affect you in the supermarket. It's going to affect you if you own a fleet of vehicles, electric companies, plumbing companies, trucking companies. Everything across the board is going to be affected. Not to even count the military bases that's there. Okay, they're using close to 1 million barrels a day just for the military. Okay, let me tell you, things are going to look ugly in 2026. I
But I
mean, it's gonna look ugly, because if you were paying $100 for a fill up like I was in my truck, and that $100 all of a sudden becomes $170, $180, almost double. Believe me, you're gonna get the attention of even your most loyal voter, who's gonna. It's like waking up from a bad dream. You're just gonna pop up and you're gonna be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
So
Somebody's
I'm
gonna
not
snap you
she's
disagreeing
back
with
not
into
talking
you.
about that
reality
though.
when you
I'm
hit
not
that pump.
disagreeing with you because I feel like that's the way Trump won the 2024 election. Was he basically had to overwhelm the ballot box. But what I am saying is we have to be very careful at not realizing how easy it is for us to lose, no matter how many people vote for us, because the machine, these places, Baltimore, Chicago,
New
New
York.
York,
State of
LA,
California.
San Francisco, those machines are entrenched. These are people who have been in power. They may have a different face on a mayor, but that machine has been in place for 50 to 100 years. The machine never leaves. The people may
Exactly.
go, but the machine always stays, which is why their dead always vote, because they always can find their dead
Yeah.
to come back and cast a ballot. All I'm saying is it is easy for us, no matter how many people vote, to lose an election if you don't control the ballot box. Republicans, if they want this, they're going to have to clean the voter rolls, and they're going to have to get people to stand in those volunteer positions
Yes.
where they watch the vote and control that voter box. Because
Yes.
he who controls the voter box controls the election.
No,
And that's
That's
always
right
Lois,
been
there.
the case. And when
I
it comes
And
to
would
that's
agree
one.
with
Democrats,
you. I would
they've been
agree
doing
with
that
you.
for a long
But
time.
California
And
is flooded with illegals. That's where a big majority of their vote came from. Okay, and this is not like we're sneaking ballots into the ballot box. No, they were showing up and allowed to vote.
Yeah.
Okay, it was
Doesn't matter
open
how they
fraud.
do it. It
This
doesn't
wasn't
matter
like
how
some
they
doesn't
do
matter
it.
how they
secretive
do it.
kind of thing. And then we also discussed, and Wise's audience hasn't heard this, but these cities are packed with creatives. And
You're
and like
right.
I said, creatives are people who are artists. musicians want to be actors, that kind of thing. Okay. And creatives tend to vote very liberal. That's what these cities are packed with. Okay. And that's their most loyal constituent of people. But let me tell you something. Even with these creatives, okay, when you hit somebody in the pocket, you get their attention. All right. In construction, I'll give you an example. Okay. Let's say I sign a contract. You say, Rolando, I need you to build me a LA Fitness. I say, okay, I have it done in 6 months. You give me a date. Hey, it needs to be done by January 1st. If it's not done by January 1st, I'm going to fine you $25,000 per day every day you go past January 1st. That's the incentive to get right. Okay. You start hitting people in the pocket. All right. So if you're not ready, I'm going to back charge you, that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is for California, people are not different in the way they think, no matter how they're dealing. When you start taking extra and extra and extra money out of somebody's pocket, eventually there is a threshold. And once
We
that
agree with
threshold
you.
is met, they're going to vote against you just out of spite.
Well,
Okay.
we agree with you, Rolando. But
you,
what
you
she's
know
saying is they have to. The Republicans have to, because again, for social media purposes, people cheat. People cheat, and so that's why Trump is saying we need to push the Save Act. We need to make sure that people have their IDs. We need to do all of these things, because if the Democrats hold the power over there and we don't have people that are coming in that
Let
are
me
not
ask you something, Crystal. Do you think
yes,
in 2026, this president that we have right now ain't gonna be watching every single voting booth in the country like a
doesn't matter.
hawk?
Doesn't matter, because he can watch from where he is. But what Celeste is saying, who is
No, it's called
in
the
those?
DOJ. You
No, no,
send
no.
you
You're
send
not
ballot
understand what I'm
watchers.
saying. You're not understand what I'm saying. Who is over those precincts? That is amazing. And I'm telling you from somebody that worked in this industry, it is very different. And they have things set up in a certain way. So you have to be, what Celeste is saying is spot on. We
So
have to
hold on,
be in
hold on. So
control of
you
that.
you don't think that this election coming up is not going to be the most scrutinized elections for ballot rigging and everything
I
else?
didn't say no.
Being all this fraud that's being exposed right now, you think in 2026 they're not this president, the one who just bombed Venezuela,
Guess what?
doing he's been on a killer roll, ain't gonna be watching them ballot
Guess what?
boxes like a hawk come
He will.
26,
I guess what?
knowing
He
that
will be
if Democrats get back in office, the first thing they're gonna do is impeach him.
Impeach him.
You,
Guess
you,
what? I
you don't think
agree.
he ain't gonna be watching?
Wait, I'm saying I agree that he'll be watching, but you cannot discount these Democrats, because they want to be in office more than ever at this point in time. That's the part that you're missing. So they will come up with new schemes and plans and all the things because they want to be in power at this point in time. So while you're underestimating the evil that's within the Democratic Party. Yes, Trump will be watching. Yes, he will put out the DOJ. Yes, he will do all this. But these people, the Gavin Newsoms, the Ilhan Omars, all those people want that power back. So all I'm saying to you is, yes, he will be paying attention, but also these people will be scheming. So I don't want us to sit here in our laurels and be like, okay, this is going to be the greatest bloodbath ever, and so on and so forth. We're all going to show up and we're going to vote and everything's going to be great. No, we have to be on our P's and Q's and watching carefully, because they're going to come up with new schemes
No, I'm
because
gonna
they want to
put
win.
my money on the guy who has been wrecking the Democrats for the last year and some change. They are scattering. They don't know what to do. This president is on them like white on rice. All right. And if I got a bet on what's gonna happen in 26, oh, Trump's finna wreck them. Trump's finna wreck them all the way. And he's been one step ahead of these guys at every single turn. Everything that Trump does is to make them look bad. Like, for example, for 4 years, Biden upped the ante on Maduro. He said, hey, bro, we're going to take it from 10 to 25. All of a sudden, we catch Maduro. They can't even give him the kudos to do it.
Do you know? Do you know how many people
They can't
thought
even
Mamdani
say,
was
hey,
not?
man, you know,
Wait,
great job. We don't agree with you on nothing else, but great
do
job.
you know how many people thought in New York that Mamdani wasn't going to win? I know a lot of people. They actually, that's what I'm saying. When you get comfortable, somebody just put in the comments, don't get comfortable.
Yeah,
That
you
is
can't
when
afford to get
people
comfortable.
get comfortable, that's what happens because
No,
they're like,
that's the
Trump is
opposite
going to.
of my point.
No.
The
What I'm
opposite of my
saying is,
point is if you think Trump's going to be just sitting back in his office on 26, like, oh, let the results be the results. No, he's going to be out
no,
there in
I'm not
full
saying.
force because he knows what's at
No,
risk.
you're not understanding, Rolando. I'm not saying Trump. I'm talking about us. Because you make that statement, there will be a lot of people saying, all right, we got this. Trump is going to be watching this and so on and so forth. All we're saying is we have to be in our P's and Q's. We can't get comfortable. That's all we're saying. That's what Celeste was saying. That's what we're saying. Yes, we understand what you're saying and we agree with you, but we're just saying for everyone that's listening, don't get comfortable because when we get comfortable thinking that Trump got it, we end up losing. That's all we're saying.
I would agree with
All right,
that
well, get out there and vote.
1000%.
You know what I'm saying? Get out
That's
there and
something that I've
vote
been talking about, on the
for
platform
sure.
for a little bit. Is that this year is extremely important, and I think what happened the last time around when Trump got in office the first time around, people got real complacent because things started to get better, and they got complacent, and they didn't have the turnout that was expected for the midterms the last time around. The midterms, I mean, folks got to show up and show out just like they did in 24. They got to. This is extremely important. Extremely important. There's a couple super chats I want to read, and we're gonna keep it moving, and we're gonna get up out of here. Shout out to Hunter with the $10 super chat. Says, imagine that old King song that goes, "This land is your land, this land is my land." Now that Zoran is in charge in New York City, he basically says, "Nope, this is my land." All right, thank you, Hunter. And Sandra PR with the $10 super chat says, my grandmother paid $30,000 for a home for her brownstone in Brooklyn in the 60s.
Wow.
Wow. Your people must be rich. 30,000 in the 60s? Yo, that's like what is that? $300,000 in today's money or so? That's
Yeah, but that was affordable for that time. Man, wife, they could afford that.
Shout out to you, Sandra. All right, you come from some folks with some money. They said black folks don't have no money, but that's you showing something different.
No.
Right?
Shout out to Ash Bay with the $5 super chat. Says Congress is trying to pass a bill for digital ID in February. UK passed a law. All newborns must be chipped. If they refuse, the baby will be confiscated. That's just crazy work. That's diabolical. That's diabolical.
Oh man. Oh, dude, wow. I got a bunch of homeboys who want to have their babies confiscated. Come on over here.
Rolando,
come on over here. Bring a paddy wagon with you. You know what I'm saying? We load up that paddy wagon with baby food and a bunch of babies.
Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't pass. Y'all know it. Y'all already know what time that is.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to lighten it up a little bit, and then we're going to get up out of here. I want to play this clip for you because this young lady here said that she needs $185,000 a year just to maintain her life. Wow. That's a lot of money, man. But,
What is she doing?
Yeah, that's what I said.
To make every month in order to live a comfortable life. I ran the numbers for myself, and it looks like I need to make $4,000 every 2 weeks, and this is after taxes, y'all. This is after they already taken 15% out for retirement. So that's $4,000 every 2 weeks after taxes, $8,000 after taxes for the month, and for the year, that's about $185,000, y'all. Also, I calculated like my expenses, how much I pay for food, rent, how much I would like to save and invest for. It's crazy. Let me know what your exact number is, and don't get in my comments talking about $1 million or $3 million. I'm talking about realistically, like what's a realistic salary after you do the numbers where you could live comfortably off of.
People need to get her comments and say how dumb
I was reading
she
this
is.
article right now. It said for a family of 4, you at least need $300,000, not including Hawaii and not including California. You need $300,000 bare minimum to be comfortable, to not struggle. Guys, I don't even think that's feasible. Like 300,000, I don't even think I would ever get there in my lifetime. Even if we're in a one income family household, even if I was full-time working, we still would never be anywhere close 300,000. Are y'all comfortable in what you're making with you and your spouse? Are y'all struggling? Because even where I am today, we struggle, but we make it work. You know how we all are. We make it work. How do you feel about that? 300,000. Do you think that's something you can accomplish in your lifetime? I just feel like you shouldn't have to make 300,000 working your butt, putting in 40 weeks, putting in overtime, having so many side hustles. There's so many people now that have like 6 to 7 side hustles just to make rent, not including water, electricity, and everything. Like, this is crazy. As I was reading this article.
Yeah, that's wild. These numbers, I don't know where they get these numbers from. This 300,000, 185,000. I don't know. I mean, but if you earn $185,000 a year in the United States of America as a household income, you're in the 90th percentile, of Americans. I mean, you're up there. You're way up there. Wow, that's crazy.
Gen Z, you can't take anything they say seriously. I can't stand them. They're on the level of liberal white women. Can't stand them.
I think you also got to figure out where they're living, because I have told people certain things when I'm on TikTok, and they're like, "You pay how much for rent?" And I'm like, "I live in Atlanta. I don't live in Oklahoma, so my rent is clearly going to be very different from the rest of you." So it also depends on where that girl was calculating from.
Yeah, but 185,000 though to live quote unquote comfortable. Really? I mean, comfortable is relative to each individual, right? Comfortable for me is, basic in comparison to maybe some other folks, because maybe comfortable is I get to go on 2 vacations on an annual basis. My grandma, God rest her soul, went on 1 vacation in her entire lifetime. You know what I'm saying? She went to Mexico once.
So sweet.
This whole I got to travel every quarter and all this type of stuff. This is ridiculous. I'm really sick and tired of it. And honestly, I think this whole traveling thing is overrated anyway. I hate being at the airport. It drives me crazy. I can't stand it. I like being at home. I'm a homebody. I like being at home.
You're not just I'm telling you, they're crazy. They're crazy.
I love traveling.
Any woman I meet who start talking about traveling, I X them off the list, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I love
because
traveling.
that ain't nothing, bro. That ain't nothing but a bougie headache, bro.
Michonne, you hear me, Michonne? I love traveling. This girl right here.
I love cruising.
I kick you off the list.
I do not want to be
right
on the list.
now,
Remember
bro.
that.
If we
I
can't
never wanted to
drive
be on the
there,
list.
we ain't going
Don't
there.
get it twisted.
You know what I'm
Crystal
saying?
never
That's
wanted
just
to
the
be
way
on
it
the
is.
list.
Okay? Both of y'all actually both of y'all will be eliminated. Crystal and Michonne, because she was talking about trips to Hawaii. Remember, she was reminiscing on trips to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So she kicked off because we can't drive to Hawaii neither. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Uncle roll like an elephant, man. He don't forget nothing.
Listen, cause dude, all this about how much you need and all this and that, bro, it was never about that. I grew up in the house. I got 6 brothers. I got 2 sisters. Okay, that's 9 of us. All right. And basically, bro, my mom would feed all of us with 1 whole chicken. All right. And a pot of rice that was about, bro, this big. You know what I'm saying? And she stuff us all. And that'd be the end of it. And Christmas, you get a gift. On birthday, you get a gift. But one no vacations, one no none. See, all this about 185 and you need 300 together, dude. That's because they want the all-inclusive life. They want the big house with the white picket fence, with this, with that. But what they don't understand, dude, is y'all said earlier that wealth is built through real estate. Okay? Which I say is false. I say that's a lie. And I'm going to tell you why I say that's a lie. Because real wealth is built with family. Okay? Because there's strength in numbers. So if you're a man, dude, and you have nothing, why do you think, dude, Pops would sit there knowing he has nothing and have 9 kids and 10 kids? And you would say, man, Pops is wild. You know, he's got an average job, but Pops got like 9 kids. You know why? Because there's strength in numbers. You know, you may have 6 of those kids that are average, but you may have 1 or 2, dude, who actually really do make something of themselves. You know what I mean? And this is what you're hoping for. You're playing the luck of numbers. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if you got 9 people living in the house, how you think the Mexicans get here? Dude, I got Mexican neighbors, bro. Every time I run by there, there's 13 of them living in the house. They all pay rent. So it don't matter if the mortgage is $2,000. They all pay $150. You know, how you think they come down the street bouncing in their 6'4"? Bing, bing, bing. And you looking at the 6'4", you like, man, that's like 13 grand worth of stuff on that 6'4", looking nice and shiny, some Dayton's, the whole 9. Okay, that's because he paid $150 for rent. At the end of the day, dude, that's strength in numbers. That's where wealth truly comes from. Okay, it's from your family. Even from the Vanderbilts down from the Rockefellers and everything else. What's the one thing that they do? They reproduce. They make more Rockefellers.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
To keep everything going.
Hey,
so
Spaces, just so you
at the
know.
end of the day, if you're alone in this world, okay,
I knew you about to say something crazy. I know you about to say something crazy.
Spaces is a youngin. He the youngin of the crew. Spaces, just so you know, Dayton's are rims. They're from back in the day. You know.
I knew he was going to get him.
You don't want to talk about why the old Lowrider magazine.
Oh, I used to love those Lowrider magazines from back in the day, man. They had the nice looking Mexican women up there in the front with the bikinis on, and the nice and the Daytons and the switches. I was into the Lowrider mags back in the day, bro.
So let's take this back to the conversation.
That's where wealth comes from, man. It's from the strength of your family and in numbers, bro. You know what I mean?
So now,
if you're alone, you have nobody to depend on, nobody to lean on when things get bad, bro. Once you have the numbers, you can acquire the house. If 10 of y'all live in a house, guess what? You can afford a $400,000 house. If only one of you live in a house, you could probably afford a $200,000 house or $100,000 trailer. Okay, so what do you want?
We ain't
Crystal, get in there. What are your thoughts?
I said we ain't all living together. Ain't 10 people living in my house. I'm sorry, it's not happening. It's absolutely not happening.
See, and this is why black and brown people are at the bottom of the list when it comes to wealth, because we can't swallow our pride. Everybody
no,
thinks
it's not about pride. It's not about pride.
It's
not about pride.
It's about.
It's not about pride.
I'm with Rolando. He cooking today, man. Rolando been cooking all day long. He like a dad going hibachi chef up in this joint today, man.
Oh, attitudes are going to clash and personalities are going to clash.
Okay, here we go. It is not about pride. It's about my preference. I lived in a house with a bunch of people, and I like my space and my privacy. That's number one.
Exactly.
Number two,
and you like
if
your
you pay
brokenness.
attention to tag Rolando, oh, just be quiet, bruh. Anyway, so when you think about what these, because I'm taking it back to the lighter mood. I know Rolando's trying to get real serious. I'm on the lighter mood. That lady said $185,000. So I was sitting here calculating. My hair appointments equal like about $150 anywhere between $100 to $150 every time I go get my hair done. It depends on the steam treatments. So I got to make sure I get that done. My hair appointments are either could go anywhere from once or twice a month, maybe. It depends on the weather outside too, because if it's humid outside, it may be 3 times. My nail appointments are about $185 for nails and toes. So it's about $185 every time you go get your nails done. So when you think about that, when you think about that alone,
toe budget.
When you think about that alone, that right there is serious, right? That's serious. My clothing budget is not that expensive because I really don't care about name brand. I think a lot of people who think about name brand, that might hang them up. I'm not really a name brand type of girl. I've never been.
You ain't got no money left. $185 for toes, $200 for hair. What you got left to do? You shopping that wrong by the time you done.
First of all, I get my stuff taken care of. Thank you. Anyway, so like I said, I don't do name brand. I've never been name brand girl. I've learned now to kind of like, The Lord is making me cook more at home, so I'm cooking more at home. I do, Miss Shawn, don't judge a girl. Sometimes I have a little Gen Z in me sometimes. Maybe because I have
Thank
Gen Z
God for
children.
that.
I tend to have a little bit Gen Z in me. And I want to travel. So I definitely understand. I won't say 185,000, but I definitely understand that, again, depending on the place that you're in, because like I said, why do you think there's so many millionaires are in New York? Because their housing is stupid expensive. Just the apartments that I live near here. There is a apartment near me. A 3-bedroom apartment is literally 6,000 a month. Another one is about 9,000 a month. And these are 3-bedroom apartments. This ain't your condo. This is just apartments around where I live. So that's what I'm saying. You have to stop and think about where these people are living, because again, even if that girl was talking about $300,000, that might be a little bit excessive. But again, if she's living in California, that might make a little more sense. Or as she said, in Hawaii, their expenses are a lot more. It's a lot more than like these smaller towns.
But Crystal, she said excluding Hawaii and California.
No, she said Alaska, didn't she? I thought she said excluding.
No, she said excluding Hawaii and California. She said excluding. Okay. So I'm assuming that she lives in a state outside of those places.
Well, New York is still expensive too. Let's just be real.
Yeah, I mean, New York is expensive, but I mean, come on, man. 180,000. 180.
In Atlanta has become the a quote unquote Black Hollywood. So they trying to make it like California. Let's be real, because I remember first getting here to Atlanta, and the houses used to be nice and cheap. Yeah. Rent used to be nice and cheap, and then all of a sudden they started saying we're the Black Hollywood, and then you see these $1,000 apartments. You're just like, hold on, this is the same apartment that was $900 or $800. How all of a sudden now it's like $3,000? I'm very confused. So
you know what I noticed though, Crystal? You don't hear men talking like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the average man, if he's single by himself, earning $185,000 a year, he would consider himself balling out of control. Mm-hmm. He would.
Tell me about it.
I mean,
I didn't say
now for people like myself, I'm bald. I do this myself. What you're paying is, I'm just listening to this. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
I never said, first of all, I agree with 185,000, because I do think that's excessive. But
thank you.
But my hair, y'all don't understand. My hair is not easy to deal with. I get carpal tunnel syndrome trying to do my own hair. I'm not doing this, and none of y'all would be able to do this, and y'all would get irritated. So don't judge my hair. Okay?
No, we do appreciate you pulling up. You got the hair. You always got it, whipped, live dead, laid. I give you that.
Women budgets. Dude, these women budgets is higher.
But Ro,
than
why are you complaining? Because ain't nobody asked you to pay. Ro,
okay?
What you complaining for?
$200.
No, stop.
They got $200 for nails. They got $200 for hair. All right.
Ro, why are you complaining?
Then all of a sudden,
because if a woman is not asking you to pay for this, and any man that I have ever dated, I have never asked.
Women don't ask to. What?
I said.
You know how many toes I've done in my life? What are you talking about? What are you talking about right now?
Are you
hearing how many hairdos I pay for? What are you talking about right now? All right, you know how many nights? You know how many nights?
That's because you do tacos and fornication.
The fact of me getting laid that night depended on the fact I got some nails done.
Again,
all right?
That's because you do tacos and fornication. Over here, I have never asked any man to pay for my hair or my nails.
What are you talking about?
I pay for my own hair and my own nails.
No, ain't nobody trying to hear that talking about something.
I will go out to eat
for that.
As Celeste and I
for that all the time. Hey,
Celeste and I had that discussion. If I want to go eat somewhere fancy,
how many toes have you paid for this year?
Bro, can I finish talk?
You kind of interrupted him.
No, I was speaking.
How many toes have you paid for this year?
Well, my own. I paid this year. Me, I am one of those guys. I do go get, a little mani pedi. I'm one of those. Want to take care of the feet. My wife don't like my feet looking out ashy and stuff. They are ugly, but I still try to do my best.
How many toes and hairdos have you paid for in your life?
Who, me?
Ooh.
Any man on the panel.
I mean, if wifey asked me, I would, but typically she takes care of that stuff herself, typically.
That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Wise, because I literally said,
There are
Well, in
women
my
who
house, I pay for toes and
well,
hair.
that's
Okay,
you. But I was just
and don't tell
saying,
me
I
that men don't
all I
pay for
said
toes
was
and
no
hair,
one
because
should
there's all
no
types
one
of
should
cash app requests you can see out there for
what
toes and
I
hair.
said was no one should be upset with the price that I pay for my hair since
That's right.
I pay for my hair. I didn't ask
I'm
a
not
man to
knocking it.
pay
I do think
for
it's a
my
lot.
hair.
Dude, you
I
can
think
pay
it's a
$1
lot.
million for your hair
What you
and
just
still feel
explained, I'm like,
broke. You
man,
know
that
what I'm
sure
saying?
Guess
sounds
what,
like a
Wise?
lot.
Guess
But
what,
what we
Wise?
saying is
That
for
Wise. Can I say this,
185,000, you
bro?
can't
Hold
complain,
on,
because
bro.
I
I'm trying to
guarantee
tell
you, if I
Wise
look at your
something.
list of bills, there's plenty of things on there you can do without and
Woo.
be able to make ends meet
Wise.
just fine.
Hold up, bro.
Wise.
Let Crystal get in.
All I was saying is, in Atlanta, that price that I just told you about my hair is actually cheap. I just want you
Really?
to know. Yes, it is. It is actually cheap. What I just told you for paying for my hair in Atlanta. So
Hey.
it sounds expensive, but there are women who easily pay $400 or
Listen, bro, for that
$500 to
type
get
of
their hair
price,
done. So
for that type
Hey,
of
thank
price,
God
when
for
you get
T-liners.
home, I'm gonna hit your
Facts.
head with a weed whacker. All right, because we ain't about to pay that every
guess
month.
what?
All
Guess
right.
what? I'm not on that list. I'm not on that list. I'm not on that
Yeah,
list
we
because
gonna
I
give her a
travel.
trim.
No,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying?
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
on
break
your
out the
list.
weed
I
whacker
travel.
and we gonna pat,
No,
and
don't
tighten
worry.
that
I'm not
right
on that
on up.
list. We travel over here. We don't
We
stay at
ain't
home.
paying
So
that.
I'm not
Wait,
on your list. Don't worry
Crystal,
about
he
that.
said when you get home.
This is why
When you
most
get
advertisers
home,
are
we
aimed
gonna
at
hit you
women.
with the weed whacker for that type of price. I see that
Can
bill.
I, can I say
I
something?
literally, I'm gonna lay you out in the driveway and run you over with a lawnmower. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't paying that for no hair. We gonna do your hair. We gonna do mine at the same time. We gonna cut out both hair budgets. Okay.
Especially if you're living in a house of 12 people. Somebody know how to do hair.
There is no living in a house with a bunch of people. I disagree with that being the way to wealth. I still say that buying a home is one of the quicker ways. And it's not because of us being Black. You know, Hispanics might do it, Chinese might do it, whoever you name might do all that. But we have a lot of single people. And the problem is that we also have a lot of non-financial literate people. So you can make $300 million and still not be able to save or do anything with it. And unfortunately, we're not willing to learn anything because you actually have Black people out here, and I hate to bring it to that sit up here and are waiting for the government to say, here you go, Black people, to go buy houses. I forget which show I was listening to for that. And I'm like, there's money already out there, but you're waiting for it to say specifically Black. So that's your ignorance because you won't go look into anything. Everything that you need that's out there for white people is out there for you, but you won't go do it because you're waiting for it to say Black. And then this single mother thing, and you want to do it on your own, then you have kids. Yeah, it's a bunch of people in the house, but that's not going to build you no wealth. That's going to put you behind the 8 ball.
Yes.
So a better way to say also with the buying of a home is to have a husband and a wife, because that's a family, do it together and then have children would be ideal, but we don't want to do it that way. And that's what our problem is. And it's never going to change. You can put 55 million people in the house. It's never going to change. Plus, we're not going to do that. So if Crystal makes enough money in order to live her life the way that she does, then that's all good in the hood, regardless of what it costs. That would be the same for me and anybody else, here. But if you have an OnlyFans person who makes $350,000 a month, she's Gen Z and cannot afford to live off of that, it doesn't matter how much money you get, which is typically why men do well, because they don't spend money the way that women do. I cop to that. I do spend a lot of money, but there's things that I can afford to do at this point in my life. Because if I can be 54 and I still got to sit out here and I can't go get my nails done, then I'm a failure. I'm a failure. And I'm not, because I'm going to do it. And I'm going to travel because that's what I've worked for. And these people don't want to work. That's why I'm like, when I see Gen Z talking about amounts of money, they don't know what the hell they talking about. They just spouting out stuff. They don't know anything.
You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Celeste.
It's coming from the wrong angle, though.
I have a question, and I'm Spaces, come back as soon as you can. And I'm not trying to start a fight. I do have a comment.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Please do.
I made it my resolution not to do it. So, but here's what I find fascinating just watching this whole conversation. What I want to know is, from what it seems, the men on this panel are slightly incensed by the fact that she said it would take her 185,000. And my question is this: why do you care that it would take her 100? What is that? That doesn't mean anything to you.
We don't.
If she's willing to work and earn it, why is it such an affront to you that that's what she's determined
So
in
it's
her
not
life
it's
will
not
make
about
her
it's not about her and how much she earned. Okay, it's the fact that when you put it out there and you're saying that that's not enough. All right. I've seen my
why?
parents do more with less.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're making
But that wasn't enough for
185, no,
her.
I'm just saying, if you're making 185K, that's fine. If you want to foolishly spend it, that's fine. Okay. With men, it's like the Odell thing. All right. You make the money, you spend the money as you see fit. That's fine. Don't complain about it afterwards, bro. We don't want to hear it. You know, that's always been the point with
Okay,
men.
so let's say
Okay,
she
if you
does.
I
earn
don't
that,
care.
that's fine, and that's great for you. You
But
know, you foolishly
y'all
spend it.
visceral. All right, hold on. Y'all visceral reaction was not at all positive. I was like, I don't care if that's what she thinks it's going to take to make. All of you from your face
No,
and
because we
comment.
value money. That's
Okay,
what I mean. When we see somebody spend money foolishly like
well
that,
that's
and
subjective.
then not accept it and
That's
say, you know
subjective.
what? No accountability. Hey, you know what? I messed up, man. I didn't know the value of money and I tricked off my
So
money
what?
and I messed it up. No, they double down and they come on and they be like, man, the cost of living is
But
so
listen,
high.
you
Da,
don't.
da,
When
da.
she messes up her money,
When
Rolanda, hold on. When she messes up her money, there's no consequence for you to suffer. So why do you
no,
care?
no.
Well,
The
because
only
it's
Actually, I
thing
don't I
it's
don't know.
is
I don't know,
don't make
Celeste,
it
because
public.
typically when women mess up their money, they start to lean on the system, and it does directly affect
I'm
us. The
sorry.
Okay,
Don't
majority
say
of
that
women,
or
word.
the majority,
all right.
lean on
majority
their
of
man to
people
fix
that
the problem
receive
that they
money from
created
the
for themselves.
government and that are on the system, those
Yeah.
are women.
Well, she's
So
not.
when they go out here and they make these poor choices financially,
Well,
typically
okay,
it
so
is
wait.
men because men pay
That's
more into
that's the
taxes.
difference.
So wait
We
a
own
second.
up to it.
Hold on, wait. So the issue with that would be, you're right. Then those people who are on the system, they're a public nuisance on you. They're a nuisance on all of us. They got into that position not alone because they didn't make those babies by themselves. So
That part.
that is a reason, unfortunately, that the public is paying for it. But this woman who's making 185,000, she's not on the system, or let's say that she does actually make enough money that she's decided that's what make her happy, and she goes out and works for it and gets it. If she's not on the system, and should she mess up, she's not likely going to be able to go to the system to say, come replace this 185,000 that I've fooled around and messed up. I'm just wondering why it is important to you, or you have some emotional care about somebody who worked for something. Maybe they spent it in a way that you disagree with. They may spend it in a way that I disagree with. But it just seemed to me, I could be wrong, but it seemed like you all had some visceral reaction to the fact that she thought that
No,
was
I'll
that
give
was
you.
the amount
Okay,
that
I'll
was
give you
needed.
the
I'm not gonna
prime
lie to you. I
example.
did.
I give you the prime example right
Thank you for
quick,
your
Quiet. Hold on.
honesty.
Good
I
job,
used to I
Celeste.
used to
You're right.
trade a lot of crypto, all right? And I would make thousands of dollars a night. Okay. Now I took that money. Now, mind you, this is me in my 20s. I took that money, I bought Jordans, I bought designer clothes, I bought all types of stuff.
So you
Okay.
see, none of the women on the panel
Instead of
care.
saving that money, reinvesting that money, doing something positive with that money. Okay. When I tell people about that time right now, you know what I say? I say, I made a lot of money, but I spent my money foolishly. I wish I would have known or had a little more financial education, and maybe that money would still be working for me today. That's acknowledgement. That's accountability. That's saying I messed up. With women, it's never, hey, I'm spending a little too much money. Let me pull back a little bit. Let me make this last. Let me do this. Let me do that because I'm just kind of going off on the wrong end. No, the first thing they say is 185 ain't enough. What?
And that's okay if it isn't. Maybe it isn't.
But she didn't say that.
You know
Wait,
what I mean?
Celeste, she didn't say
Like,
that,
bro, you're
Celeste. She
making
actually
$3
said,
grand
Celeste, she
a
actually
week.
said that
Okay.
this is, she never said that it wasn't enough. She said, this is how much it would be
This
for
is
me
what
to
it.
live.
Yeah, this is
comfortably.
what for
That's
her
what
to
she
live
said.
comfortably. That's what she
That's
said.
what she said.
I
She
think
never said it wasn't enough.
what had me kind of taken aback
How comfortable
is,
you want to be?
well, that
She has the right to
part.
be as
But what is
comfortable.
comfort? And everybody's comfort level is different. I just think
$3
that
grand worth of comfort.
when you look at the average American earning about 60 grand a year, give or take a couple thousand, and this person is saying that I need to make basically 3 times that in order to quote unquote feel like they're comfortable. I just look at that as just like, that's just ridiculous.
All right,
It's
so
just
can I say
ridiculous
this?
to me.
So I'm going to answer the question that was originally asked. And Sue Young put it in the chat. There are places where that 185,000 is very reasonable. So I'm going to give you an example. I know someone who lived in one place where her car insurance, just to have a regular car, not a fancy car of any kind, a regular car that anybody can drive, was almost $9,000. She moved and the car insurance went down. The place that she moved to went down to 2. When you're wanting to know how much it would cost for someone to be comfortable, you also have to know how much it takes for someone to live, because there are places and there are lifestyles. I'm not saying that this is not just, some of this isn't lifestyle based, where it is not unreasonable that it would take $185,000 to live a relatively average life, particularly if you have children. So let's say you have 2 children and you own a home. So now you've got a mortgage. Maybe you and your husband have a car, and now you've got 2 kids and you have to think about where they're going to go to school. You may have to put your children in school in a place where you have to pay for their education. Maybe the public school is not good or is dangerous near where you live. I mean, there are all types of considerations. When you start really stacking that up, 180,000 may not be unreasonable for, I'm assuming, what you would consider an average lifestyle. The general things that most people want. Most people want to live somewhere safe. They want to drive something reliable, and they want their children to go somewhere safe and maybe have a few extra opportunities that will hopefully get them ahead when they're adults. That's what average people tend to want. There are places where just that life can cost 180,000 and more.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for saying
The absolute
that.
majority of the time, women say stuff like this. They're saying it because they're living beyond their means, and then they take the same thought process into a relationship with the man. And then, if heavens forbid he marries her, he's going to take on the debt that she's incurred in the process. She's going to take on. This is why the absolute majority of the credit card debt lies with women, and this is why like.
Most of my friends, women, they're not in credit card debt, and they probably make more than 180,000.
Goes up to 800, goes up to 1,000, and it's like, no, like, you can, of course, you can do whatever you want for yourself, but you, like I said, you take that mindset over into a relationship with somebody, and the absolute majority of people aren't even making 185,000 anyway. So where are you getting this number from?
Yeah.
There are people that are making 185,000.
No, there are people that are, but the majority, when you think about it, when you start talking about 185,000, you're talking about the top 5% of earners in the country. I mean, that's not everybody. And to be honest with you, most of those people are not women. Let's just keep it a buck. Most of them are not women. I'm not saying that there aren't women that aren't making that type of money, but the majority of people that make that type of bread are men. Let's just keep it a buck.
But and they're not
absolutely. And a lot of that time, the money that's being funded by their lifestyles is being provided by a man.
Yeah, that too. And they're also not, the people that are making that type of bread also aren't young people.
They're making that money themselves, and they're funding their own lifestyle.
That people don't make 185. We know that they do. But if everybody was having this wonderful salary, why are they always complaining about how high the eggs are, how high the milk is?
That's my point.
Anything. These people
don't even know the cost of it.
I am again. I'm exactly right. I make a decent amount of money, but the point is that these people are Gen Z. They don't want to work, but they want all of this money. And they're, like I said, I think the problem not only in the community but with these young people is they want to be where people probably like you and your friends are, me and Crystal are now at the age of 22, 23, and 24. And it just doesn't work that way. And they don't understand it, or no one's teaching them, and they don't want to listen.
That's true. You're absolutely right.
I'm only talking about Gen Z. So they're the ones that are lazy. Sorry. They don't want to work. They want all the money. They want all the things. They want the hair at the price that Crystal is talking, the toes at everybody else is talking, but they don't want to work. That's all I'm saying, is that when I see a Gen Z person talking these numbers that they're just tossing out, and I'm like, so it's taken me this long in my life to get here. And what do you do? Even when you're a OnlyFans person, and be nice on your channel. Even when you're an OnlyFans person and you make all that money, she was under 30, she still don't know what to do with it. So even if you capture $350,000 a month is what this girl is making under 30, and she still can't live. It's not enough for her. It's not enough. So that because they were under 30, Generation Z, I just really don't think that they know most of what they're saying, and they don't know how money works, and they don't know how to utilize it, and they don't know how to make it work for them for future, because they want everything right now. Now,
absolutely,
people our age, for the most part on this panel, there's a completely different story for us. But when are they ever going to get to that if they're spending every dime that they own, putting out all these random numbers? But if you're not doing anything with the money you make, there's not you're just going to work that way for your whole life.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that Gen Z is already too depressed to hustle, so I'm not even sure we have to worry that much about them. And I agree with you. They're comparing their life to people who've been in the same career for 20, 25 years and who've worked their way into the positions and into the salaries that they're in, and they're saying, I've been at work 2 days. And now I want that. You're 100% right about that.
Well, trust me, only the top 15% earn 75,000 or plus. And as you go up, that percentage gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay? So these are just straight unrealistic expectations. All right. The average person in this country earns 48 to 52,000. Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that woman shouldn't have a desire for herself.
And mixed class.
No, I'm not saying. I don't think we're saying that. You know, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, like, even if you do make that kind of money, you know, like $185,000 is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of bread.
We only have one life to live. Let's just be real. We only have one life to live. Not to blow the money and just be stupid, but you still should be able to enjoy the money because you are not taking it with you. You're going to, of course, you keep some for your family, passing from generation to generation to generation. But there are a lot of people that hold that money like they're about to take it into the grave with them, and it ain't happening.
It's not that. I don't think it's that though, Crystal. I think it has to do. I think men and women look at things. We look at this a little. We look at things differently. Because when a man starts to make bread like that, he's looking at that bread in the sense of, I've only heard what you just said. You don't normally hear men talk like that. I've heard women say you only live once and you can't take it with you. Men tend to think about, what type of legacy am I going to leave for my lineage? And if I go out and blow it all, there's nothing left for my lineage, my wife, my children. Men don't typically talk like that. I've heard a lot of women say, I'm gonna go out and buy this new car because you only live once. I'm gonna go out here and take all these vacations and I'm gonna do this, that, and the third because you only live once. But then you get 70 years old and you ain't got no money invested nowhere. And now those same women that said you only live once and I'm about to spend it all because I know I can't take it with me. There's no Brinks trucks backing into caskets. I understand that. But those are also the same ones that kick themselves. And I know a few like that. That kick themselves because they're like, man, I should have put a little bread up. I should have put a little more bread up.
I agree with you, but see, that's what I'm saying. When I say you only live once, I take the lesson of my grandparents. My grandparents lived on this earth, left this earth. They were never in debt. They left this earth without being in debt, was able to leave an inheritance to their children, to their children's children, and to their children's children's children. And they were still able to
My grandmother saw the world. She went to Australia. My grandfather wasn't a big traveler, but he went to Alaska with her. They saw the world. So they understood that we can't take it with us. We still supposed to experience the blessings that God has given us and still be able to leave some for our children's children. And that's all I'm saying. So when she said about 185,000, I agree with Miss Shawn. I agree 100% that Gen Z would be like, I need to be making about 500K to be living real good. And so you just be looking at them like, what? But I think what Celeste was saying is very factual, because a lot of y'all were really upset by what this woman said. And she said, this is for me to live comfortably. She didn't say about no family. She said, this is for me to live comfortably.
And that's the other thing that I think that's for me. When I saw that, I'm just like, for you by yourself?
That's
or
what
a man sees that and says, hey, I can get married. I can take care of my entire family with $185,000 a year. Hell, I did it, you know what I'm saying, with $50,000 a year.
You think some men, because I have met men who listen. They got
Hey, Crystal, New York City and Atlanta are not real places.
I'm not talking about Atlanta and New York. I'm talking about around America, who they were like, listen, I have money now. I'm not even thinking about marriage. I want to dip and dabble with all, because now I got the coins to snatch up whatever woman I want. Let's look at Shannon Sharp. Why don't we? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The dip
I'm just saying, hey, Crystal, men that actually got that player gene in them, Uncle Ro know what I'm talking about. You ain't need no money to pull no chicks. Like, come on now.
I'm just saying.
Come on now. How many? Most of the women out here that are baby mamas, their baby daddy ain't got a pot to piss in. So, hey, women ain't looking for dudes for bread. Come on now, stop it.
Wise, but what I'm just pointing out, and the same space of, you just said men think about when they got that kind of money, they could get a family, they could get married and settle down. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of men nowadays that don't think like that. They ready to turn up because they got the coins. Maybe they were the ugly duckling in school. Maybe they weren't the big nerd in school. I don't know what it is. Look at what's.
Well, those are the dudes that you know what, Crystal, you're absolutely right. The dudes that maybe was on the square side of things that didn't know how to talk to women, because when I ain't had no money, I ain't had no problem pulling chicks. I ain't had no problems doing that. And I ain't have no bread. You know what I'm saying? I never had that issue. And the thing is, when you look at the data, there's a bunch of women out there that have illegitimate children by dudes that ain't worth a dang. Come on now. Come on now. How many women are on TikTok right now? We could pull up TikTok and we could go down hashtag my baby daddy ain't ish. We could pull it up. How many women out there got kids by dudes that don't have nothing? Matter of fact, I know women that met dudes sleeping on their mama's couch. And they got 3 kids by the dude. Like, so let's stop it. The money ain't it.
That is because, and I say this all the time, that men should not have unsupervised access to women. But that's because women don't select men based on money. We don't.
Exactly. That's my point exactly, Celeste. That's my point exactly.
But that's the point.
Unless your face, unless you look like a foot.
Because, bro, at the end of the day, look at this. Look at this. A middle class person. This is a microcosm of what the dating market is right now. Dude, if you look at an average person, let's say you start a job at 48,000. Okay, you work that job for 20 years, you might end up somewhere in the 70,000. Let's say you have a wife that's earning about the same. Between the both of y'all don't even pull 185,000. Okay? Yeah. And that's average. So that's why I say it's a microcosm, dude, because that gives you insight into the mind of the modern woman today. And how unrealistic they are with the numbers. This is why men get outraged, because we understand these numbers, okay? And when we look at a woman saying, I need 185,000 to feel comfortable, just to feel comfortable by herself, and literally men know between 2 good people earning decent salaries, you don't even pull that. Men automatically say, you know what? That's an unrealistic chick, bro. I'm not going to talk to her. I don't really want nothing to do with her. Because at the end of the day, you get with that, Guess what you're gonna have? The stress. Oh, we ain't making enough. We ain't getting that trip to Hawaii. We ain't going here. We ain't going to Australia. What Crystal fails to mention to
Don't call my
everybody
name. Don't call my name.
about
Don't
her
call my name. Don't
grandparents.
call my name. You don't know my life.
Is that her
Don't call my name when you don't know my
her
life.
grandparents
Find
fell
somebody
into
else.
the
Find
5
somebody
and
else.
10% of society. Okay? That means privileged. All right? For the
You don't
north, for the
know
other
our
90,
life.
for the other 85 to 90%. Okay, that doesn't happen. My grandparents on both sides of my family were dead, broke, poor. Okay,
We
lived in
weren't
the
rich.
country and
We
lived
weren't
in the
rich.
woods in Puerto Rico. I'm not saying that because I want sympathy or anything like that. All I'm saying is you have to stop trying to make that little percentage the norm. It's not.
It's not
Your
that the
parents
percentage is
fell.
the norm.
It's
Not
not.
the norm.
No,
It's
your
not
not.
that the
parents
We are
fell
percentage
not
is
into
the
rich.
that
norm.
What are you
5 and
talking about?
Hold on, wait.
10%. You have
Rolando,
to acknowledge
Rolando.
that.
All right,
We
so
were not.
Rolando, hold on, wait. Here's the thing. It's not that I'm gonna use me, so we can put this all on me. It's not that I'm trying to make that the norm. I'm very aware of what the average salary is, but what I am trying to say is you can't tell me not to aspire to that. I have a
I'm not
right to
telling
my
you
own
not to.
aspirations.
Nobody
I'm
said
not
that.
telling
I
you
have
not
a
You're
to.
right.
making stuff
All
up.
we're asking is that you acknowledge that now, if that's what you aspire to, your percentage of men have dwindled into 5
I acknowledge that.
to 15%. That's
I
all we want
acknowledge.
to acknowledge
And
because the other
oh wait a
85% of
minute.
men
Oh wait a
aren't.
minute. I'm gonna go further. I don't even think it's dwindled to 15% because I will say this: many of the women I know who make that in or in the what you said the top 10%, top 5%, they're definitely without men. So I understand there are trade-offs in that. And it's not always good because you in one way you can win on some areas, but you may be taking big losses in others. I think that when you're making these decisions, you should look at the full picture and know what what you might get when you're asking for that. So I do acknowledge that. But what I'm saying is you still have a right to aspire to whatever life it is that you think your talent and your God will let you have.
Nobody stopped
Listen,
her
I
from
agree. You
thinking
won't
that.
get a
Nobody said she
disagreement from
can't
me
do
on
that.
that.
Where do you keep
Never.
coming up
You
with that
can
from?
aspire to be a freaking superhero. All right. Don't mean it gonna happen. You
It
know what I'm
doesn't mean
saying?
it is, but
That's
for some
fine.
people it does. And let's say this, maybe she never makes it to 185, but maybe she gets to 110. Okay. Well, she didn't meet her goal, but but she did do something. All I'm saying is, I don't know that we should scoff at the actual idea that somebody deigned to think, excuse me, that a woman deigned to think that she would want to have a certain type of lifestyle or earn a certain type of money because everyone else isn't doing it.
You keep
Just
saying
saying,
that
if
nobody's had issue with
go ahead,
having those
Spaces.
aspirations. Nobody had issue with her having those aspirations. I'll speak for myself. I was just saying those aspirations are ridiculous and potentially unobtainable, but you can aspire to whatever you can aspire to fly, sprout wings or whatever you want to. I don't care.
Exactly.
But how available is that to you? Look at the Google female delusion calculator and see what the results
according to you all, it's
I'm just trying to
available
figure
for
out what's
10%.
the issue with us having an opposing opinion with whatever it is that she's talking about. It's on the internet. It's up for debate. So there's nothing wrong with it. I won't say there's nothing wrong, but she can have her opinion. She can have her aspirations. I don't care. I'm just saying when you say 185,000 for even just like Rolando said, combined couples don't even make that much.
No.
So,
The top
so
earning
whatever
people in the country are Asian Americans that are married and their household income is like 119.
Look at that.
And that's the average. So for a person to make 185, I mean, and I'm not saying that it's not doable. I'm not saying that it's not. I do want to say this. For majority of women in America, unrealistic. When you look at the data, the data says otherwise. The data says otherwise. There's like 1 or 2% of women that are making that type of bread.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that the women are going to make it. The majority of people who want to be surgeons, that's 1%. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand that, but I don't know that somebody says, you know what? Hey, I want to be a surgeon. Hey, I want to be a millionaire. Hey, that the idea of a woman publicly expressing that is an affront to men, and apparently from
No,
this
because it's how callous they throw the numbers out there.
why is it callous to say that? I want to be a millionaire.
Because when
I
you
want to be
throw
a
out numbers like
multimillionaire.
that,
That's not a
Exactly.
men
I would
are
like to be a
logical.
multimillionaire.
Men automatically will break that down and say that's unrealistic. That's why
For
it's
them.
callous.
You're not the right man.
There's no
Then you're
thought
not the right
behind it.
man.
It's like I want a millionaire.
You're not
the
the right
wrong
man. If
woman,
that's a
is what it
problem,
is.
because I believe in a man that has ambition and drive and goal, not a man that's going to be trying to knock down the dreams and the goals of the person because they're trying
Nobody
to attain
knocking
something.
down no
You're trying
dreams,
to
but
say
it's how
that
they throw the numbers out there.
it's ridiculous. It's
Why?
ridiculous.
They
You
say
want a
like
man
it's
that
so
has
easy.
drive.
Like hey, $1 million and me
Like, I
and
want a
wives
man
are
with
like
drive.
$1
Somebody even
million.
thinks that we climbing. Not
Like,
someone that's sitting
dude,
down here crying about pennies. Lord, jeez.
it's like what? Where are you coming up with these numbers? They just
You
throw
said
them out in the
so
sky.
Celeste,
Bro,
you
I
said
want a millionaire. I hear women say I want a billionaire, and they just throw it out there
No,
like,
I'm not
oh,
talking about
if you
wanting
had
a
me
man.
by
I'm
your
talking about
side,
for
I would
themselves.
help you make a
That's
million.
not
No,
the
you
same.
wouldn't.
No, wait,
No,
that's
no,
not
no.
like
I do want to say
talking
this,
about for
and we're
themselves.
gonna get up out of here. It is 12 o'clock, but I want to say this. I think the reason Rolando, Spaces, myself feel the way that we feel when we see these types of numbers, I think a lot of it has to do with, for men, we're extremely simple. If I was single by myself, I'd probably be in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment with a recliner, you know what I'm saying, and a big TV, enough to watch my games, and a decent bed. I don't need much. And I think men look at this like we don't need much. Crystal just described a
Let me
lifestyle
ask
that
you,
I know
how
nothing
much was
about.
your average rent if you were single, all right, and you were shopping for an apartment? What would be your max on rent?
Not max. My average
No,
rent.
no, I'm just saying, like, would you max out at
in the
1,500,
place where I used to
1,200?
live would
Like,
probably
what's
be
decent for
about
you?
$3,500 a month.
Yeah, DC is, but DC's different. DC's a different
I'm
place.
telling you,
Yeah,
that's what
DC's
my
a different
rent would
place.
be.
No,
Now, even
I'm
for me,
talking
like
about,
I
I'm
wouldn't
talking
live in
about just an
DC.
average, just your average city, bro.
That was
Because
me
here,
for
normally a 1-bedroom apartment here, you're looking at about 12,
bedroom in a
1,300.
Yeah,
safe
$1,200,
neighborhood.
$1,300. I don't need to live in the upper echelon neighborhood. I'm not one of those. I need to be in a
Okay,
pinky.
so you would take
I'm
the
actually
12,
good in the
1,300,
hood. You
right?
know what I'm
But you
saying?
don't
I'm
have
good
the
with
same
that.
requirement
So
for
you would take
safety
the
that
12,
I do.
1,300, right, Wise?
You don't have the same requirement for safety that
True.
I do.
No,
That is
And
true.
no, I'm
I,
just saying,
for me,
12,
my first
1,300.
thing is if I had
Bro,
to walk out at night, what am I walking out into? If I got to
Thank
park
you.
my
no,
car at
that's
night
a no.
and come in,
I'm talking a decent area. This ain't no ghetto. This
yeah,
ain't no
about
nothing.
between
Well,
Okay,
but it also
3,000,
this
depends on where you are. I mean, if
right,
you're in
plenty of single
DC,
3,000
women,
and 3,500.
plenty of single women live in the area that I'm referring to.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then
so
they
I
don't
did
feel
take
safe
safety
as I
into
want to
account and
feel.
affordability. So I'm saying in Orlando, Florida, you're looking at about 1,300. But guess what? Also in Orlando, Florida, you know where a lot of single women live? In luxury apartments, and those are about 3,000, 3,200 a month. Then you throw on top of that Crystal's hair budget about 400 a month,
Why are you
another
worried about my
400 in tow
budget?
budget, another Whole Foods. You know, got to shop at Whole
I
Foods.
don't
Need to get
shop at
that
Whole
Whole Food or
Avion water and
Sprouts,
the seedless
Sprout
Again,
shopping.
watermelons for 20 a
again,
piece.
you around
You
here
know,
putting my
women
name
do
in your mouth and you
everything
know
to the
nothing
extreme,
about me.
bro.
I
Everything to
don't
the
shop in Whole
extreme.
Foods.
If a woman makes money, everything will be to the extreme.
I don't
Guess
shop
what?
in
A
Whole
regular
Foods.
watermelon from the guy who sells them off the truck and for $5 a melon ain't good enough. All of a sudden they buying watermelon at Whole Foods for $22.
I don't shop in
Okay,
Whole Foods.
because they say
But
it's organic and all this stuff. All right, instead of buying
Hey,
the
I'm with
food down
Rolando
from the
today.
Chico,
I'm
you know
rocking
what
with my
I'm saying?
brother
You can
Rolando
save a
today.
couple bucks.
We on the
Instead of
same.
you
We
paying
here.
$22 for a
My
hair.
daddy said you
You
better
know what I'm
stop
saying?
that.
And
My
then they
daddy
wonder
said
where all
stop
their
that.
money is going. That's
Rolando,
why I don't
when
feel
you
bad for them.
said,
Why?
when you
Because they
said,
do crap like that, and then
hold on,
they
wait,
come
when
playing
you
the victim
said
like
that you spent money on
somebody
Jordans
ripped them off.
and all of
No,
that
you
other
went
stuff,
down there and signed up for that.
none of the women cared. That
That's not true.
hold on, wait.
Yes,
Let me
I
make
don't
this.
care.
Let me say this.
You say you don't care, but whatever. Okay.
The question that I was trying to get at, and I was not trying to start a fight. The question I was trying to get at was not the idea of the money. The money could be $5, it could be $500,000. It's not the money. It was the care that was the interesting. Because when Rolando said when he was young and he had a lot of money and he was trading whatever you were trading and you were out there blowing it and buying sneakers and doing things, in my mind, I could have cared less. It meant nothing to me because my thought is, and maybe it's an issue of selfishness. My thought is that has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to rise on that and I'm not going to fall on that. So I really don't care what he does with his money. He can be as foolish as he wants to be. Makes me no never mind. On a personal level, on a human level, that's one thing. But on a personal level, that's it. When the other woman, and I agree with Messi, I agree with the Gen Z aspect. But when the other woman said, well, this is what I'd like to do, as crazy as it was, y'all just were like, now wait a second. This is so my question was, and I'm okay with the answer and we can go, but my question was only to find out, why do y'all care what women are doing? Women are not caring what y'all are doing with your money. That was the question. We could pick it
for all of them.
Time.
Thank you.
And
you speak for all women?
No, I think she's right. I just think that when I see it as someone that doesn't need all of this, I look at that and I'm just saying, and I know one, how hard it is to earn $185K. That's extremely difficult to do. Obviously with the numbers, right? The smaller amount of percentage of people that make that type of bread. I'm just saying, when I see that, I'm like, I could be comfortable on 60 or 70. If I can make 70 grand, I'm comfortable as all get out. Especially if it's just me by myself. Oh man, we go.
Let me get in there.
Wise, let me end this argument right here with just this. Hold on, Spaces. Let me end this argument with this one little quick thing. The reason why men care is because when women get a bad idea, they spread it to each other like it's VD. Okay, that's what they do. Somebody came up with the 666, told another chick, and before you know it, it's across this damn freaking
And I said it carries into relationships.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why we care, because when one woman gets something that she thinks is a good idea, all of a sudden, dude, they give it to each other, dude, like it was COVID or something like that. And before you know it, dude, a woman in San Francisco started, now it's in Florida, and they saying the same freaking thing. That's why we gotta nip this stuff in the butt, because they need to be realistic, because all of a sudden that's not what's out there. All right, that is not what is out there. So if you out there looking for 185, whether it's from one man or combined income, the likeliness that you're gonna get it's not realistic. You know,
what does a man want for herself?
No,
My
but
goodness, why
but
you
what
keep
I'm
including
saying
the
is,
men in this?
what I'm saying is, what you
It has
want to
nothing to do with
aspire
men.
to, what you want to do with your money, all that is up to you. Okay, but this does affect us because we gotta date these delusional women.
It does not.
Okay?
It does not include you. This
Hold up, Ro.
Hold up, Ro.
This individual here said you men are just lazy.
Really?
Holy
Man,
smokes. Whoa, shots fired. What?
What you talking about? We
Men are at
lazy.
the
Hold up.
center of the
Hold up. Get
existence
these
of
Christian
men.
feminists
Thank you,
and
Tom.
crystal followers, okay, off the
Hold up, bro. Let me let Spaces get in there, and then I want to speak to the men are just lazy. But Spaces,
It's funny that men are lazy, but everything that makes a woman's life more convenient was created by men.
That's
Facts.
true.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, cool.
Facts.
Your favorite fashion designers are men. Your people that make the creators of makeup, men. Your refrigerator, your what is it? The Rumba, all created the absolute majority of stuff that makes your life convenient and easier are created by men. But we're lazy. When women are all over the internet talking about, I want a man to pay all my bills and I just want to watch Wheel of Fortune all day. Stop it.
Where?
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, we're not saying, and the thing is that I'm not saying that, and I reject the lazy. I'm just saying that I think that we are a lot more simple and we don't need as much as women. Crystal just named a multitude of things that I have no use for. And shout out to her. Every time she pulls up, the hair is whipped. So obviously it's money well spent. But when I hear those numbers and I'm like, I got some $60 T-liners that I bought 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been rocking out with them for a while. Keep the head shaved right. So when I hear this, and I'm just like, ooh, man, that's a lot of money. It's not lazy. Men, we just like simple, and we don't need much. We're amused by the simplest things. And I think that's the difference between man and woman, is that we don't need much. And most of the things that men do, especially financially, if we're buying certain things, the cars and all this other kind of stuff, for the dudes that feel like they need to do it, it's to impress women. But what we do know is that there's a bunch of dudes that don't have anything. They still at their mama's house, they at their homeboy house on the couch, and they don't have any problems pulling women. And women aren't checking. They don't even care that the dude don't have a job.
Sure don't.
They don't care. They don't care that he don't have a place. Matter of fact, Crystal, duffel bag, he can pull up.
Don't start why.
You know why this world is modernized the way it is?
But my coins is mine, right?
It's because men were trying to shut women up. That's why the world is modernized, okay?
Next
Because
week,
there's
ask
constantly a
us
woman
why.
complaining.
Why the women want that guy on the couch?
Celeste,
Okay.
but doesn't that prove my point? Because they over here fussing about the 185,000. That is her money. And when Duffel Bag came to on my couch, he was living in my money. So again, I paid for my hair, I paid for my nails. I didn't ask nobody to pay for nothing.
I understand that.
Well, you're jumping in and out of when you make it personal to yourself or when you generalize women. The absolute majority of women are looking for a man to supplement their life, and she wants him to be the sole $185,000 maker, and she be the beneficiary of it. She don't want to go to work. If she does go to work, is her money, and his money is their money. The absolute majority of the time. So stop it. We can't jump in and out of these scenarios when we go back and forth of the woman you're talking about is not me. I'm talking about the absolute majority of women.
You got to look at the people
So we
you
can
surround
stop
yourself
that.
with.
The absolute majority of women make less than men. Talking about she can have her money, and I keep saying that. She can have her money. She can do whatever she wants, but she brought it to the internet, and people have differentiating opinions, and that's fine. So I don't understand the concern about why do we care. She brought it to the internet. It's up for debate for differentiating opinions. And on top of even worse than what Crystal said about her hair, I've seen styles that people offer $300, $400, even up to $1,000 for a hairstyle, and they're spending money on it. But the absolute majority of them live in Section 8. They don't have their own houses.
First of all, let me just educate y'all, because people now starting to hear your crazy comments and think there's something wrong right here. First of all,
with nails,
this is Crystal's hair. Do you see this? Do you see this? This is not coming out of Crystal's hair. This is Crystal's hair. Okay. Okay.
And you're still jumping in and out of when you personalize it. I'm not trying to personalize it to you. I was just using what you brought up as an example. So you said 300, and I would make and I furthered my example if you would let me finish. I was saying that with the amount that you spend, I've heard higher amounts.
I'm telling you,
I've seen $800, $1,000 hairstyles.
I said I was responding to the people on the internet because they're saying a man made my hair. That this hair is not my hair.
No, that's definitely that's definitely Crystal's hair. That's not a wig.
Wise, give me a second. Let me address that lazy comment, because now
hold up. Before you go, I want to read these super chats real quick. Shout out to Death the Reaper, $2 super chat, says men aren't lazy, we live in reality. Hit that like button. Shout out to you, bro. And shout out to B Wyatt with the $2 super chat, said a couch ninja is the best man some women can get. Oh Lord. See, y'all, we trying to get out of here. Y'all trying to start trouble, man.
Let me just say this before we leave, Wise.
Next week.
For that lazy comment, that was a real hurtful comment. All right. Because men built this world, men built everything in this world. Women benefit from all the comforts of all the men who have died building this planet. Women like that are what's wrong with this world. Okay? We need to appreciate each other. Okay? Men need to realize that we need women, which a majority of men do realize that, because on just the fact of, if we don't have women, we go extinct. Okay, so I'm not going to get into the minutiae, but I'm just going to go real basic. Okay, but women run around here all the time talking about they don't need men. Okay, we need each other. And stop with this all this crap that men are lazy and this and that, because you had some bad experiences, okay, in your dating world. Nobody cares about that. I've had bad experiences, wide spaces, Crystal, everybody. Okay? That ain't no reason to generalize that. That was a very immature statement, and that's disrespectful to every single man who's died in my industry, construction, okay? Building everything from the skyscrapers in New York to the Hoover Dam. All right, so you think about that before you go on making callous statements. You may not agree about all the actions and how we behave, all right, and that's cool. You know, we do have some degenerate behavior. I do give you that, okay? But at the end of the day, women benefit from all the sacrifices of men and vice versa. All right, so don't come in here bashing men. We ain't gonna play that. All right.
Well, you might have to apologize to her because she was putting in the comments. Why? You may have to apologize because some of your comments were reckless, and that was what she was responding to.
I don't apologize for nothing. I meant what I
So
said,
then
and I said what I meant.
you can't be mad when she calls you lazy. You can't be mad. You got to take.
Hey, I guarantee you, I work more hours than she worked.
Again, you got to be able to give it.
And she couldn't. I could do her job. She can't do my job.
Again, learn to take it. If you give it, learn to take it. That's what you got to learn.
Exactly. That's what you need to tell her.
Yes.
And I don't take
with that being said,
if you look,
I wish I had some music. Was that music?
Place.
You know, they start playing.
All right. Don't apologize.
They need to
I mean what I say.
Okay, they need to finish this.
What's your special song, Wise? I like that song that you had to intro the thing. That special song.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, and yeah, we'll get that in there. Shout out to Faith Under Fire joining the membership. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Appreciate you. We're gonna get up out of here. Appreciate everybody pulling up today. There was an announcement, and thank you, Crystal, for putting that out there. There is or was a mass shooting. That individual is still on. Looks like they still hadn't called a person for it yet. 2 people dead, 6 people wounded out in Salt Lake City. Looks like it was at a funeral. And maybe we'll get into it tomorrow. But let's make sure we keep those folks lifted up in prayer out there in Utah. Let's do that. Appreciate you guys pulling up today. Shout out to everybody that pulled up. Oh, shout out to you, AT. Appreciate you, brother. You know, he was like, that's me, AT. Appreciate you, brother. You know, change the name and everything. Like, come on now. You come over here, Faith Under Fire.
You know why? Why? You know why? Because he has made the jump to YouTube. I got him to get off of TikTok. He's made the jump.
Okay. That's what's up. Okay. All right, cool. That's what's up. Well, shout out to you, AT, and the family. Appreciate you, brother.
Crystal's Rolando.
There's no Crystal Rolando.
Show, bro.
Do not put that on.
Oh yeah. Friday is going to be great. You know, you already know.
Tuned in to watch some of Crystal's Rolando. I appreciate you, bro.
There is no Crystal Rolando. Crystal doesn't have a Rolando. Okay, thank you.
When she gets home, y'all sort this out. Okay.
Don't be making my phone ring tonight with people asking me who's this Crystal. It's Crystal's Rolando. Okay, thank you.
Crystal's Rolando. That's got a good ring to it. That's got a nice ring to it. Crystal's Rolando.
Hey, Wise, we should put that in the merch store. I think it'll do very well.
Don't you dare. Listen,
put
I
like
don't
2
know.
champagne glasses in the front, and we just put Crystal's Rolando.
No, don't do
it.
Don't do it.
Real classic.
Can I say?
Hey, Wise, we gotta do the champagne because Crystal's high end. You know, so we gotta do the champagne glasses and Crystal's Rolando.
It gotta be a $250 bottle.
Oh my goodness,
Exactly.
y'all are mess, bro. Y'all are mess.
500, but anyway, do not. There's no
That does have a nice ring to it, though.
Yeah,
I can see a T-shirt, Crystal's Rolando. I can see a T-shirt
on the front. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do it.
They go for about $500.
Oh man.
We'll all wear it.
You gonna get a message today, Crystal. You gonna get an email, you know, from probably AT. He gonna let you know,
No,
like, hey,
not
Crystal's Rolando's got a nice ring to it.
Not 18. Another person will be calling my phone. We've had this discussion before with these conversations.
Not the duffel bag, boy.
No.
Did you say not the double? Y'all are terrible. Y'all leave Crystal alone. Okay,
Listen,
leave my sister alone.
Gonna hit
Leave her
Crystal's
alone.
phone is Crystal Daddy. He gonna be like, hey, Crystal, who's this Rolando?
There's no
I keep hearing about. Okay, I ain't liking hearing that right there.
Nope.
You know,
Y'all are best, man. Y'all are
I'm
a
not.
mess.
I'm not on your
You know.
list. I travel to Europe, and I travel to the islands. I travel. I don't sit in the house. So there is
He'd be
no
like, hey,
place for
Crystal.
Rolando.
He'd be
Don't
like,
you
hey,
worry,
Crystal,
he's
you know this
coming.
is ridiculously ridiculous. I keep
He's
hearing
gonna
about
be
this
on the
Crystal
he's gonna be
Rolando
on the
running
plane
around here. What's
complaining,
going
but
on?
he'll be there. Don't
No,
worry.
he
Oh
won't.
no. All right, folks, we getting out of here, man. It's way past time. Way past time. Thank you guys for pulling up today. Thank y'all for hanging out. I know we went a little longer than expected, but appreciate you guys. Inspired conversation today. This is really good. Really good. We'll be back at this thing next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late shift. Come check us out. Come hang out with us. Shout out to everybody that pulled up, that supported the channel financially, that supported all the channels financially today. All the folks, here over at the late shift, ARP, as well as Messi Michon and the Crystal Beyond Labels. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys pulling up and hanging out with us for 3+ hours. Thank you guys very much for pulling up, man. We're gonna get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. It's late. All right. Y'all take care, man. God bless. Peace.
Good night.
It's the late shift crew. You already know. Handling this, stacking chips, money flowing.